You know, here. What's up? I was thinking about something.
What are you thinking about, bro?
I was thinking about what's going on in the earth, right?
What's happening in our minds?
Yeah, and I wondered, why does it matter?
We're about to find out.
Holy shit. Ready?
Just kidding.
Welcome to Earth, Mind, and Matter. We said, fuck it, let's talk about albums. We said, let's talk about some movies and some fucking comics. This week in the universe, across the internet.
So what's up, Javi?
What's going on, Frankie?
So Frankie just showed me a very secret message.
The most secret of messages.
While the episode was starting, he didn't want to say it into the mic, which I thought was very suspicious.
Super sus.
I saw you get on your phone, and I was like, boy, I'm about to smack that out of your hand. But you know, after seeing that message,
that's pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty secretive.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it'll probably sprout into the future one day, but for now, we got to keep it from the people, from the fans, from Lucas over here to my right.
Oh, you guys will just always have to just wonder.
Just wonder. Yo, I had like 7 slices of pizza today, man. 7 slices of pizza. I had 2 from one spot and then like 6 from the other.
Were you like comparing pizzas?
Nah, I mean, I guess in a way. I guess when you eat 2 different foods in different places that are the same, you know, you always are. But nah, I was just being a fat ass. I was just being a fat ass, and it was good pizza. Joe's Pizza. I used to shit on Joe's Pizza. It's pretty
Joe's
good.
Pizza's good pizza.
I used to shit on it all the time. All the time, bro. Hold on, let me fix my hat.
Why did you hate on Joe Pizza? Like,
because like I had it before, and I'm like, this is like this better pizza, and like, how can I say, like in Carmine's, it's in Brooklyn and Graham, Tony's, like Russ and stuff like that. More like, I'm not gonna say it's real pizza, but it's better pizza. But then I had a couple slices one day, and I'm like, I've just been a hating ass bitch. And sometimes you gotta admit to that. You gotta admit to being a hating ass bitch, and that's what I was.
You sound like you're about to make your own pizza company. Like I'm sure this is what Papa John's went through, and that's how he came up with the slogan "Better Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza."
And me, and then I said the N word also, like Papa John's. So it's like it's a perfect mix, you know. Like, here's your pizza. It's a perfect mix.
But I was also wondering, you know, last episode you had your dick out.
Oh yeah, I did.
So
you decided to do it too?
I just figured I should have my dick out for this episode.
I think equality is fine.
Like I don't know if like you also want to pull yours out.
Nah, last time I did it, I got some weird infection on it. It started turning all red.
Okay.
It started like spewing out like purple ooze.
You know, that's happened to me before. You want to know what helps?
What helps? Bengay?
Use a toothbrush.
Okay.
Because the bristles are soft.
Oh, you have to get the soft toothbrush though, which I didn't know existed for a while. There's like hard bristles, soft bristles, medium bristles.
Get soft bristle toothbrush.
All right.
And put some hand soap on it.
Hand soap?
Hand soap.
Why can't I just use regular soap like my hands?
Nah, it needs to be hand soap.
It needs to be on a toothbrush.
It needs to be on a toothbrush because you don't want to smother your dick.
Got you.
You want to be soft with it.
You want to be soft with your dick?
Yes.
So what about like masturbating? You gotta just get the toothbrush.
Because it only works if you're soft.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at.
So you want to use soft bristles on a soft dick.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess if you're hard, you use a hard bristles.
It's just like, look, if you use a hard bristle, are you gonna get hard? Yes.
Duh. Just like what is it? That little scrubber, that metal scrubber you use on pans. What do they call it? Sheep wool?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, man. I mean, I just saw a video about just now, right? There was an artist. He's pretty progressive, like liberal and stuff. He's cool though. But he posted something where some comedian was like, "Why are there just male gynecologists? Like, you know, I don't want your fingers in my pussy and stuff like that." So I mean, I don't know. Like, I've always felt kind of weird about gynecologists, you know, that are men, like to, you know, be looking at women's pussies. But I wonder. I mean, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, don't men stick their fingers up guys' assholes? You know?
And vice versa.
Yeah. And maybe she was seeing a male gynecologist. Maybe it didn't occur to her that she could have just asked for a female one.
You know, it's true. I'm sure like you could always ask for a preference and things like that.
Maybe she was like, let me get the better gynecologist. And they were like, oh, our male.
Now, are you bringing up an issue of class?
No,
not class, but sex.
I mean, I'm bringing up an issue of pussies and who inspects them, you know? But I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're complaining about having a male gynecologist, you chose to have a male gynecologist. You get me?
It's kind of like those people. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but it's like those moms that got upset when a certain character dies in The Walking Dead, and they were like,
very unique comparison. Fingers in my pussy. The Walking Dead characters die. What were you gonna say? I'm interested to see where this goes.
It's just like these moms got super upset with the way this character got killed because he was super violent and super grotesque, and they were just like, "There's no way this could be on television," and stuff like that. It's like, you know,
and a show about zombies.
You know, you like AMC markets this as a TVMA show.
Mm-hmm.
No one's forcing you to watch this.
I'm sure their kids are awesome. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with their children. You know what I mean?
Like, all I'm saying is you're paying for it.
Facts.
You're paying for it.
I mean, I don't know. Those moms sound like they're boring as hell. It sounds like they should get
I bet
murdered.
they drive Honda Odysseys.
I bet you when they eat popsicles, they don't like men to stare at them.
I bet you they take their popsicles and cut them into squares.
You think so?
Yeah, and put them in their water because it's very hip.
They put it in their milk, in their lactate milk,
In their oat milk.
in their oat milk. Ooh, oat milk is good.
Yeah,
Oat milk is pretty good, man. I fucking took over the industry, man.
it really has,
But
hasn't it?
I think regular milk's gonna make a comeback in the future.
You think so?
I know so, bro. I work with milk, bro. My whole life I've been working with milk, and I just feel like eventually people can get tired. Again, I brought this up before, but when you watch 1979, right, the movie with the war and stuff, and the guy, and you know it's in 1979, so
1917, you mean?
Well, there, you know what I mean. 1970. Whoops, big fucking difference. And he
remember the war in 79? Still talking about it today.
Some more was happening in 1979, and he goes to the farm and he's like about to attend to his wounded brother, but he finds a cow pen that was there, and he drinks a bucket of milk and he just cherishes it, and he's like, "Oh, this shit is so good." I feel like regular milk gets bad slack, you know, just because people are lactose intolerant. You know what I mean? I think it's like black people to races. You know, like you're intolerable to them, but they're always awesome.
I feel like any hate towards regular milk, whole milk, is probably just because people see like alternative milks as like just
Healthier?
fake milk,
Okay,
or they joke on the fact that it's healthier for you.
it's true. Which is not like almond milk is not that good for you. I don't know
And
why.
it's
I
not,
have no
and it's
facts
not
to
that
base
good
it
for the
off.
planet, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, what the fuck?
The way that almond milk is made actually leads to a lot of waste and stuff for the planet.
Shut up, Bobby. Cows fart. I don't know.
So just fucking kill all the cows.
Kill all the almonds. Fuck almonds. Nah, almond milk is alright. Anyway, fuck this milk talk.
Yo, what are we doing today, Frankie?
With our dicks out, and today we're talking about what's happening on the earth
In our minds.
and why it matters. This is Earth, Mind, and Matter.
Welcome.
Welcome. Just to start it off, check out the Instagram. It's Earth, Mind, Matter Pod. TikTok, Earth, Mind, Matter Pod. The YouTube is just Earth, Mind, Matter, no spaces. And yeah, check it out. Just before that, leave a like, leave a comment, give us some hate speech, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Preferably the hate speech.
And honestly, if you just want to chat, we're here.
We're here. Yeah, we got nothing to do. We literally have nothing to do.
After this, I'm just going to lay in bed and stare at the ceiling.
Yeah, man. And I'm going to go lay on the sidewalk and just curse at people that walk past me. Just because it's better to do.
It seems like a good way to spend time.
Yeah, it humbles people. Too many people like live life unbothered, and I don't like that.
I'm just imagining a good guy, like a guy on his good day.
Just the best day of his life.
And then you fucking curse him out, and he's like, damn, I don't deserve this.
I'm going to go fucking blow up a building right now.
And, you know, you did that.
And I'm happy I did. I'm more than happy I did. Fuck that. Fuck that and those people he blew up.
God damn. Oh, my God. And he took it home, folks.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is. Live your life.
He took the joke home, folks.
I've been fucking so busy, bro. I haven't feel like I haven't been here, right? But coming here now that we're here and situated, I'm happy. I'm happy with fucking doing the podcast and everything. Got some topics for you.
Oh, do you know?
Got a couple. Got a triple.
Okay. It'd be more accurate to say a few.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, what's the couple version of triple?
Well, a couple is 2, so a few is 3.
A few is technically 3?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I'm gonna Google it. Oh. No way it's 3. Say some shit so it fills up the space.
I'm almost entirely sure. I'm like 90% sure like few is a 3.
Definition of a few. A few is a small number of. So you're a liar.
Wow.
You're a liar, bro. I don't know where the fuck you came up with that shit.
You know why I've always thought about that? Because few is 3 letters.
It's retarded. Hold on. I'm all right. What is the 3 of a couple? Let's see what comes up.
It's probably going to say...
a relationship. A throuple.
A throuple.
Well,
Ew.
a throuple is a relationship in which 3 people are all involved with each other intimately.
So polyamory?
Yeah, but polyamory extends to more. Oh, no, you're right. It is polyamory. Whatever, bro. Polyamory, milk, blowing up people, terrorization. It's all the same things, to be honest.
And it's only been like 10 minutes.
It's only been
We've
10
covered
minutes.
so many
It
things.
definitely has not been 10 minutes. It's been like 4. But we're here. We're here, man. And yeah, I got a couple stories. Let me tell you what they're about. But how you been, Javi? I feel like I haven't talked to you in 6 months.
Let's see. How have I been? Well, I just got back from my flight from Europe.
How was that?
It was great. It
What
was
did you see?
fantastic. I went to go see King Earl.
King Earl?
King Earl.
I know who that is.
King Earl of Thamesville.
Thamesville? I don't know what that is, though.
It's right off the Thames River. You need to take a boat and go off into the ocean a little bit, not too far, but
Okay.
it's like right there. And King Earl lives there in a lighthouse.
In a lighthouse?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. Can you live in a lighthouse?
Yeah.
King Earl does.
People do that all the time. That's why King Earl does it.
That sounds like a big ass house to manage. Imagine the dust that accumulates between you and the light.
You need that Swiffer that extends to get every inch.
The Twin Towers slipper. That's asthma, like in a fucking heartbeat, you know?
Oof, I got asthma. I can't. When I was over there, I had a
did I
mask
trigger
the
you?
whole time.
Did I trigger you?
You know, a little bit.
If you die, I'm gonna continue doing the podcast.
That's fine. I'm just gonna be over here going.
Hand me my inhaler. Nah, I'm too busy, bro. Your inhaler's like right there. Nah, bro. I'm sorry.
Nah, but on a real note, I've been A-okay, guy.
Good, man. Good.
Things are changing. I went to a couple concerts this past week.
Oh, you have? What concerts you went to?
On Tuesday, I went to go see Rise Against as the headliners. The openers, the one band that I do remember was The Used, which is a pretty well-known band in terms of like they've just been in the business for a long time. They've been a band for at least 20 years now.
Okay. Damn,
Rise
that's a long
Against
ass time.
has also been a band for at least 20 years now.
Damn, that's a long time.
So it was a great show. It was on Pier 17. It was hot as fuck.
Damn, it's a hot day.
I was sweating my ass off.
It was outside?
It was outside
that's
because it's on a
crazy.
rooftop.
Okay.
And I'm just, oh my God, it was so hot.
Can anybody fall off? No, right?
Nah. I mean, like technically you could, if you wanted to,
If
you
wanted
really
to fall off,
could.
you- just like any suicidal person.
Like, but something that is cool about with Rise Against is that they have this song called "Ready to Fall," and
On a roof.
I know. And so Tim McIlrath, the lead singer guitarist, was like, "Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny singing this song on a rooftop."
Okay, gotcha.
But
He
yeah,
beat
just-
me to it. He beat me to it.
Yeah, it's just a
God
funny
damn it.
little thing. But yeah, that was a dope ass concert. Got super sweaty, got super gross.
Nice.
I ended up with like a cut on like the side of my body and like a mark on my cheek. And I
Okay.
only noticed that by the time I got home, and I was like, nice.
Nice.
The pit got hot.
Souvenir.
So that was dope.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to go see Joyce Manor as a headliner on Friday. Prince Addy and Hyena opened up for them. And Prince Addy were the only band out of the 3 openers to have a chant from the crowd for an encore.
Oh, get the fuck out. Even over the headliner stuff, right?
Well,
The
Joyce
headline-
Manor
okay.
got their chant and stuff or an encore and stuff out of the openers. Like Prince Addy,
Oh, okay,
fucking encore. Like that was insane.
That's awesome.
Like I've never been to a show where an opener has gotten a chant for one more
Yeah,
song.
I've never seen that shit either.
So like the fact that happened, I was like, yo, Prince Daddy fucking rules.
That's awesome as fuck.
And I told you about that night. I was pretty lucky. Lost my phone like 3 times.
yeah, tell us that story because that's fucking crazy. What happened there?
So, okay, there I was, you know, in the crowd, and I usually never fall, but there I was. I fell twice back to back, and I was pretty upset. I was like, in the moment, I was like, what? I never fall. But I got back up. By the time I got back up, my phone was not in my pocket. And I was like, sad. Maybe a couple minutes later, I see someone raising my phone up in the crowd, and I was like, nice. I get my phone back. We're good.
Yeah.
Second time I lose my phone. Moshing in the crowd with my friend Josh. And then we stop for a second. I check my pocket, phone gone again. And then Josh just spots it on the floor a couple feet ahead of us. And I was like, fucking let's go.
It's fucking lucky as shit, man.
And so I get my phone again.
Yeah.
And then Prince Daddy was done playing. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I can't lose my phone again. And I went to go get a beer. and fucking I had $11 on me. I asked a lady, how much are your beers? She said 10 or 13, depending on the size.
Give me a 10.
So I said, let me get a small.
Yeah.
And she comes back with a large and says, I accidentally poured you a large, but I'm going to charge you a small anyways.
She was trying to clap your cheeks, bro.
Hey,
she was trying to clap your cheeks. And she was trying to give you inebriated forehead.
She was trying to rape me.
Like the Nirvana song. She was trying to tell you the Nirvana song. There we go. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say when I tell people, when I put people onto that song, you want to get raped?
And they're like, yeah. And they're like, and you're like, the song, you're like, oh no, never mind. They're like, damn, Bill Cosby.
But and then I talked to a special someone after that. Not going to spoil that conversation because it would be pretty dope if things turn out with that.
Hey, okay.
But also I had a funny little moment at the show. I also told you this, but I'll say it again. Fucking, we were after Prince Daddy. We went to go smoke and whatever, and we're out in a little smoking area. And fucking Josh misses the whole thing. He goes to take a piss. I was so upset that he missed this. But fucking some dude just walks out of the venue. He looks super pissed and he's like, what the fuck? And he's like looking around. He looks at our direction. He's kind of looking around and he storms off the other direction to like the other side of the smoking area. Yeah. And he gets over there and he just hops the fence and everyone gets a little silent. They're like, yo, what the fuck? He just starts walking across the street.
Probably Mexican.
And he was white.
Oh,
and
probably white Mexican.
And some girl just comes running out of the venue. She calls out his name. She's like, where are you going?
Derek.
And he just calls back, fuck you, bitch, while raising up his middle finger at her. And she just raises one back at him and says, fuck you. And the guy just calls back, suck my dick, bitch. And just keeps walking in that same cadence and everything. Everyone was like, yo, what the fuck? And the girl just stormed back inside all pissy and whatever. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
And he won that. Like he climbed the fence.
He won that.
He started the fuck you.
He won that.
He probably apologized the next day. Like, hey, I didn't mean to say that. I was on drugs. You know, all that stuff. And he probably was just very apologetic.
It was pretty fucking funny. But I lost my phone again during the headliner. There I was. I was in the crowd. I was really feeling it and I really wanted to crowd surf. And I was like, I know if I crowd surf, I'm probably going to lose something. But I want to do it anyways. Yeah. So I crowd surfed. By the time I get back around, phone, wallet, keys, gone.
The 3 essentials. They tell you. I forgot what comedian it was, but it's like every time you leave the house, check phone, wallet, keys. I think it's A.M.C. I'm like, I could be wrong.
I was so upset. I was so stressed, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? And the only thing not missing from my pockets was my joint and my lighter.
How am I going to open my house? How am I going to pay for my stuff? And how am I going to fucking text somebody?
But at least I can get high.
And that's what matters.
So I fucking get back in the crowd. I find Josh. I'm like, I lost my everything. And some guy's like, are you okay? What's wrong? And I turned to him like, I lost my everything. And he was like, what? What do you mean? I was like, I lost my phone, my wallet, and my keys. He looks at me and walks away.
Sounds like a you problem.
And I was like, I don't blame him. And so I did the best I could to enjoy the rest of the show because what could I do? I can't stop the show. True. So I was just like, I might as well keep moshing. So it was pretty dope. I enjoyed the rest of the show. Yeah. By the time the show was over, I find my keys on the floor scattered around the crowd, but I lost my Minecraft sword off my keychain. Super upset about that.
Moment of silence. Damn.
It was a diamond sword and everything.
Damn.
I was really upset.
Moments of silence. That's how it is sometimes.
But yeah, and then I asked security, like, yo, where is the lost and found? As soon as I got to lost and found, they had my wallet and my phone.
That's fucking so lucky, bro. That's so fucking. That reminds me of when I lost my shoe for a second at the Menzinger show.
I also lost my shoe at some point. I forgot to mention that. I lost my shoe at some point and I found it in the crowd. Yeah. So as soon as I saw it, I just stormed into that area and just dove my foot into the shoe. Right in there.
Nobody step on my fucking shoe right now. Nah, I'll never forget, man. I remember when I lost it, I was like, damn, I really have to walk home. home like without a shoe. Like I'm gonna have to get home and be like, this is the story I'm gonna tell for like the next 2 weeks. I'm like, yo, bro, I was at the show, I lost my shoe. And in the middle of the show, somebody's like, yo, I got somebody's shoe. And I'm like, bro, that's my shoe. And so we like connect with one another. He gives him the shoe. We're like, yeah. We're just so ecstatic about it. Like, yeah, nice gestures. And he was super kind. I'm so happy I didn't lose my shoe that day. We were in the city. I would have stepped in some glass.
Hell
I
yeah.
would have been tight, bro. That ruins the night. Losing a shoe ruins the night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it reminds you of our CFO Slime.
When he almost lost his shoe.
So we were bowling. And they when you go bowling, they give you 2 shoes, you give them 2 shoes. That's how it works logically. But at the bowling alley, the gutter, and all I see, they take 1 shoe, and so that's kind of weird in general. Like, why the fuck would you just take 1 shoe and you have to keep the other, right? Or what is it?
Yeah, you keep your other shoe.
Dumb. So we do that, and then they were like, oh, it's gonna be a little bit for the bowling. Go enjoy some drinks. We'll call you over when the bowling's ready. So we're like, okay, and so we get some drinks, and then he notices later on when we're done bowling that he's like, yo, where's my other shoe? They're like, we only take 1 shoe. He's like, nah, bro, give me my fucking shoe. Like, you guys have my shoe, like this and that. He's all drunk and pissed and stuff like that. And they kept trying to explain to him. They're like, yo, sir, we only take 1 shoe from you. Like, we don't have your other shoe. And he's like, so I'm supposed to go home without a shoe? And the whole fucking time, the shoe's at the bar underneath the chair.
Dude, what a fucking guy.
And to this day, he's still like, who the fuck takes 1 shoe at bowling alley?
He's so salty about it. That
Super.
shit is so funny.
And I respect it.
A salty slime. He's kind of like a snail or a slug.
The opposite of a snail.
Or wait, no. What?
Snails aren't salty.
But you put salt on them. When
Do you?
Yeah, when you eat them.
Or when you kill them. When you murder snails, you could just put salt on them and shit.
That too.
Yeah, but they're not salty in nature.
I know that. I know that.
It's a salty snail, though.
Yeah, but it's like a salty snail. Like, they're salty snails, or they're not.
I think anything you put salt on is salted.
True.
Because it's salted furniture.
I'm about to put some salt in my beer and call it salted beer.
That was your fault.
That sounds
like
disgusting.
An unpleasant choice. Pepper's better, though. Anyway, I got these topics for you. And one of them I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. And the first one I want to talk to you about is going to be China and Taiwan.
Okay.
That's something that's going on.
We've touched on this before in the show, so this will be full dive.
Mm-hmm. And I'm very excited to talk about it. Then I'm going to talk to you about suicides in courtrooms.
Okay.
Some random shit. And then I'm going to talk to you about Salman Rushdie. Who? Salman Rushdie. Do you know what that is?
Nah.
I've heard his name, only in the mentioning in terms of shows and stuff like that. But some crazy shit happened to him. He's a writer. Some crazy shit happened to him last week, and I feel like I haven't heard about it from anybody. And we cover news, so I'm gonna talk to you about this guy.
Oh, is that what we do? We cover news?
Something like that.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna bullshit around for the next 3 hours.
Technically, we always do. we always just bullshit around.
Wow, way to just step down on our intelligence. Our intellect.
We were looking back at some of the episodes we shot, and we're like, damn, we really talked about all this shit right here, man. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, aside that, before the show starts, follow the show, give us some feedback, rate our shit, do all those things that everybody that creates things asks us.
Spread and share the show with your friends and lovers.
Because it helps. I mean, we're still going to keep doing that shit, but some support is also very kind of you, and maybe we'll send you $5.
Yeah, maybe. Well, technically, if we ever get sued, they will get paid. So
think so?
Yeah, like class action lawsuit, like that.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer.
You don't know what a class action lawsuit is?
Nah, man, I don't know.
It's like
I know what a class action lawsuit is, but I don't know exactly what it is.
It's like when a bunch of people fucking file a lawsuit against like a certain company or like an individual.
We're not a company or an individual.
We're a company.
We're a pair.
We're Earth, Mind, and Matter Co. What you mean?
LLC,
motherfucker. That's what's up. We put the TM next to our names.
We haven't yet, so nobody take our shit. Nobody take our shit. We gotta get that shit ASAP. And yeah, man. So let me dive in and shit. Unless there's something else you want to say to the people.
All I gotta say is that
AIDS.
And that same Friday night, ordered medium fries, got large fries.
Oh shit! Everybody was trying to clap your cheeks that night, bro.
Drop mic.
Nice. All right, man. So let me get started with the Taiwan and China. So obviously this is something that resembles Russia and Ukraine a lot.
Yes.
That's still going on, shit. And both of these have been going on for a bit. But the reason I want to touch on it is because recently Nancy Pelosi has visited Taiwan. And so that caused a whole ruckus with China getting upset and shit. And out of all the salty snails in the world, China and Russia, definitely the saltiest of snails. They are fucking...
They're pretty salty.
Escargot.
pretty salty.
They're not pepper. And yeah, so just to give a little like information on Taiwan. Taiwan has a population of 23 million people, or Taiwans. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea how to refer to Taiwanese.
You're saying, God damn it.
Taiwan has 23 million Taiwanese people living in their area, and it's about 80 miles off the coast of China. Now, they're a democratically governed island that China had voted to overtake. Not voted. They vowed to overtake if necessary, like by force too. By force when and so it's been a while since a high-profile individual has visited Taiwan that's been from America. The last time somebody is in 1997, and that was
Good year.
Yeah, good year, the best year. That's after the 1979 war.
Yeah.
And that was Newt Gingrich. He was a House Speaker, and Nancy Pelosi went also. She's a House Speaker, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, but she's annoying. So basically, ever since she's gone there were 72 hours of drills happening around Taiwan. And basically, it all came from Beijing. And basically, they did the drills as a show of force and a warning. Basically, they've always wanted to take over Taiwan. And Taiwan is the single biggest point of contention in U.S. and China relations. So that's, it kind of concerns us because there's a lot of bases, there's a lot of bases in Japan also, like American bases and stuff. But I mean, if China were to take over Taiwan, it just strengthens China in general.
And that would like influence our country to maybe do something about it.
Us and Japan. So, like I said, because of Pelosi's visit, drills have begun around Taiwan to display military pressure. There was about 13 Chinese warships and approximately 40 sorties, which is basically troop presence.
Okay.
And 21 of those sorties crossed the informal median line in the Taiwan Strait. And the Taiwan Strait is this basically passageway in the waters of Taiwan. And there's a median where they're not supposed to cross, but it's informal. So it's not really upheld. And because Taiwan is so weak compared to China, there's not really much they can do about it. I'll tell you more information about that. But Taiwan Strait divided the island from the mainland. Right?
Okay.
Now, the drills lasted 72 hours.
Real quick, can you give me the geography of Taiwan to China? Like, Taiwan is like south of China, correct?
I know it's separated from China. Like, you can see Taiwan from China, but there's waterway in between them for sure.
Okay.
Geography, I'm so bad at, so I can never tell you really. But I get more into it later, especially explaining the Taiwan Strait.
We should put a picture of like the map.
Right here. And then Xi Jinping, which is the guy from China,
Yeah.
with a little turtle on his head.
And Winnie the Pooh.
And Winnie the Pooh. Hugging Velociraptor.
Yeah.
All right. And the drills lasted 72 hours, and the overall effect was to flex militaristic strength and simulate a blockade around Taiwan. So basically, showing Taiwan that if you fuck with us, if you keep getting visits from these officials, we're going to really fuck with your economy and your, livelihood. China also sent out 11 missiles into the seas north, south, and east of Taiwan. And those are shot pretty much into the water, but they were like strong warnings to be like, hey,
God,
stop.
what a power move.
Yeah, man.
I'm thinking like, where did they shoot the missiles? Like, it's just like, God damn,
man.
that's so fun.
Crazy, bro, to shoot fucking missiles to an area. Warships and fighter jets were also swarming around the island, and 5 Chinese ballistic missiles also fell into Japan's exclusive economic zone in the waters. No one, what I saw, was reported kill, but this was also to show Japan, like, we can fuck with U.S. and Japan, and we're only going to fuck with them, with Taiwan and Japan, if the U.S. interferes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And this was also to show that they can strike American bases within the region. And now, Major General Menu Xingkang, he's the professor of strategy and national defense university in Beijing. He said that there's 6 areas to hold exercises to seal off Taiwan, are to cover the narrowest parts of the Taiwan Strait, the water area, to block major porters, or to attack 3 of Taiwan's main military bases, and to block an escape route in southern Taiwan. So all these are plans to really just fuck with Taiwan overall.
Yeah, they basically have like plan A through Z.
Yeah, and the strength to like do it.
Yeah.
China is pretty fucking crazy. And now China is expected to raise the amount of jets patrolling the strait. And the leader Xi Jinping has said he wants to unify Taiwan and China, and that's his primary goal, like of his leadership. I don't think they call him president; they call him leadership. And he wants to conquer Taiwan, or at least unify them, as he's saying, because this is part of his quote national rejuvenation plan, and it's to create a modern united superpower.
God, that's like, it's so like bullshit and scary at the same time.
That's some Dr. Evil shit. Like his pinky to the mouth, and he's like, I just want to unify China and
together
Taiwan.
we can be the superpower of the world.
It's crazy out of the accent. I was gonna say like he can't speak English, but you just said so. And yeah, that's how he was found if he spoke English. You think he knows English?
Without a doubt. I mean, like if you're anyone of that power, you have to know how to speak other languages.
You think Donald Trump knows Chinese?
No, because Donald Trump is an idiot.
Oh, but Xi Jinping is.
I mean,
know.
he's smart enough to fucking take over China the way he has
And Trump was smart enough to make America great again. So I don't know.
for 4 years.
For 4 years, that's better than
Xi Jinping beat him to it.
Trump or Biden. Supplementary, we got to find out. Trump or Biden. Because I feel like everybody hates Biden. Everybody hates Trump too, but everybody really hates Biden. At least Trump didn't fall off a bike. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what a way to seem weak. Like, imagine you're in some other country and you're like, damn, US is about to do some shit. Then you see Biden fall off a bike and smile about it afterwards. You're just like, I think we're good. I think we're pretty good. Trump has a new hairstyle.
I can't wait to get into the A.M.C. section later.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you heard Trump has a new hairstyle?
What is it?
It's adorable.
Is it not a toupee anymore? Did he finally grow hair or something?
It's definitely still a toupee because that man is definitely bald, probably. But it's the right side of his hair is like rises upwards, kind of like I can't think of a cartoon character that kind of like Johnny Bravo, but not really.
Okay,
but it's hilarious, bro. It's adorable.
I thought you were gonna say that he parted it the other way,
like Hitler.
Like he parted it from the right to the left, and it's like, boom! Look at my new hairstyle. What do you think? I think this really shows who I really am.
All the MAGA people are gonna be like, yeah, for America. And I just want to go up to his cheeks and I just want to, and he's gonna say,
with his little baby hands, they're so small. Oh, look at him! He wants to run again.
He's gonna win again, though. High key, he's gonna win, man. I'm telling you.
Don't scare me, please.
It's the truth, man. I'm telling you. I don't want him either, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna win, and we're all gonna be secretly pretty hyped.
No.
All these pussies that don't want a president. I mean, I'm not saying he's a great president. Just trust me with that. But Biden's a trash bag, and so is Kamala Harris.
You know who should be president? Link.
Oh yeah, Link should be president. That's Hobby's dogs, guys. Dog, not dogs.
We should put this in the supplementary, but Lucas actually made a drawing of Link once for president.
Oh, no way. Oh,
yeah, it says Link for president.
And he has the Trump toupee. Link's a Republican.
I mean,
he is white.
He is white. I didn't want to bring it up first. I wanted you to say it first. He is white. You know, he's looking at me as I say this.
He knows it.
He's like, yeah, what else, bitch? Fucking say it.
He's like, my nose is black, but the rest of me isn't. And so basically, again, so Xi Jinping, he wants to create this national rejuvenation. Earlier I said rejuvenation, but it's rejuvenation. But in 1996, he became the top political officer.
Good year.
Yeah, best year. He became the top political officer of a People's Liberation Army, which is in China Reserve, anti-aircraft division in Fujian province.
Okay, so he really just... In 96, he just basically got to like a pretty high point in his career. He
was fucking shit up back then. He's fucking the shit up now. And the division that he was in 96 faces the island of across the Taiwan Strait. So it faces Taiwan and stuff like that. And I think Taiwan's an island, ultimately.
Yeah, because that's what I was mostly getting at.
Yeah.
When I asked about the geography of it, of like, so is Taiwan like officially an island, or is there like a sliver that's connected to China?
For now, we say an island, but in the future, if we're corrected, we'll just blame Ning.
Yeah. And so
Xi Jinping has already faced 2 terms, but he's expected to face a 3rd one coming this fall at the Communist Party Congress. Because if you didn't know, they are communists in China. Those dirty bastards. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
At least he didn't add any racial slurs. It's okay.
Or Asian accents.
Listen, I wasn't trying to do an Asian accent.
You were trying, but you definitely succeeded.
I was mostly trying to do my best Dr. Evil impression, okay?
The Asian Dr. Evil impression.
Like, excuse me. I got two in character. Excuse me.
And for those listening only, not the video, he also put his eyes to his end of his eye. He made
All
sure the
right.
eyes.
Don't drag
And
it. Don't drag
He
it.
wore the triangular straw hat.
Don't drag it.
He put the teeth between the big teeth in front of his. I tell you, mate, I'll be racist. I'm here trying to fight the system. And in Beijing, the foreign ministry declared that China had jurisdiction over the Taiwan Strait. So this Taiwan Strait is really important because basically they don't want Taiwan to claim this as international waterways, you know, and that's what Taiwan wants. They want the Taiwan Strait to be considered an international waterway.
So I'm guessing just by that probably means that Taiwan is an island if they're talking about a strait between them and China.
Let's look it up so we can find. Let's look it up. I'm like, is Taiwan an island?
Because I mean, just from what you're saying, it makes sense that it is an island if they have
Taiwan is an island.
Okay, yeah. So it definitely has to be south of China and stuff.
And this Taiwan Strait has been used by the U.S. Their warships have gone through it. And at times, Britain and Canada also sailed through it. So Beijing got tight as fuck. And the U.S. always stays with the fact that the strait is an international waterway guaranteed under international law. But China continues to see it otherwise and continues to deem it not international waterway. And that causes a big problem, especially for Taiwan just to be protected from that area and have like not have warships come through it and stuff like that. But I just also think that, I mean, I'm not hoping for Taiwan to get dominated by China, but it's looking like because of China's big superpower, you know, in terms of army and influence, that it could happen. And again, this is just like Russia and Ukraine, not circumstances, but just the overall gist of everything.
I mean, it definitely is very similar to Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it seems like all roads are kind of leading to the same place of that.
Yeah.
It seems like at some point China's going to really do something about this and make a move.
Mm-hmm.
Similar again to Russia and Ukraine, where Putin at a certain point just decided to finally make a move.
Yeah.
It's kind of those unfortunate things that seem inevitable, and you just kind of have to wait for it to happen, which fucking sucks.
And I think it's also a bunch of, we're going to do it unless you just let us do it. AKA, like, China, we're going to take over Taiwan, and we're going to do some crazy shit unless you just let us do it. Unless you're just going to let it be and not interfere if we do this.
It's almost like a game of chicken of like, who's going to back out first?
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end of the day, the superpower is gonna win.
Yeah, and a lot of people criticize U.S. involving themselves in Russia and Ukraine, which I'm not undermining, and I'm not saying it's important to help them. But again, it's also very interesting how we fund that war very much so, and we fund Ukraine to fight back. And I remember I heard this point, and it was really good. It was said by Duncan Trussell, the guy I was mentioning earlier. Watch Midnight Gospel if you haven't seen it. But he's saying it's like seeing your neighbors fight, you know, seeing your neighbor fight with another neighbor, and you want them to stop, but you keep giving your neighbors weapons to fight with, you know? And it's just like, of course, there's self-defense, there's this and that, but it's also, at what point is it not our problem as well? You know, and of course it is, because it's the world and we care and stuff like that, but we don't seem to be doing that with a lot of other places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely something that I don't know if I ever said it on the show, but when I've done my Russia-Ukraine updates before, something that I've seen is that they've kind of described what's going on between America and Russia as an economic war. Yeah, definitely. Because it's more of a fight, like a money fight more than anything between us and Russia at the moment.
Yeah. And if you are complaining about Biden like I am, like, you know, just think about everybody complaining about gas, everybody complaining about this, inflation and stuff like that. That all arises from Russia as well, and Ukraine and the whole thing. Like, there's a lot of base to that.
Yeah. And I mean, go back to those Russia-Ukraine episodes. That's exactly what we talked about, like inflation. Yeah. It, like, due to other reasons and just other issues around the world, but Russia and Ukraine has affected the whole world. Yeah, 100%. At this point, which is pretty crazy.
And again, like I see more talk about Russia and Ukraine than Taiwan. And I mean, of course, it's about interest and how it's covered in this.
Now, let me ask you this: did you hear about the things going on of Russia and Ukraine, like before the war actually blew between them?
I just know, I mean, whenever we looked it up, there was always stuff happening about them. They were never in the headlines. But when we looked it up for like the update and stuff like that and the sum up on the Instagram, I mean, it's been happening forever. Just, and like, again, not headline wise, not like big news and stuff. But it's, I mean, I'm sure it has been in the news, just kind of tucked in, you know?
That's kind of what I'm getting at, because it's like, I think one of the reasons why the Russia-Ukraine situation is so in the news is because of the fact that it's happened. It's literally happened. I think if China ever decides to invade Taiwan, that will be the next big headline.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, it still was in headlines about like 3-4 months ago. Like this was also covered very highly. You know, the reason I found out about it the first time is because I saw Eddie Wong. He's a chef and he's hilarious. And I don't know if he's Taiwanese, but I know for sure that he emphasizes a lot of Asian hate that happens in New York City and the world actually. But he brought up this, and that was the first time I actually looked into it. And then I read into it, and I was gonna make it a story. I never got to it. And then, so I guess in a way, it was already making headlines. I just think also that, just like we mentioned in the Russia-Ukraine episodes, that Europeans get more light in terms of how we view them and how we like mercy them in terms of how they are visually, in contrast to Asians and Middle Eastern people. Because how long have we been interfering with the Middle East for our selfish reasons like oil and stuff like that? And we make ourselves to be the hero that wants to spread democracy. You know, like right now, there's literally a democratic area of Taiwan that's trying to, you know, continue to live in peace and be as they are. And a communist China is trying to overtake them. So I think like at the end of the day, America's not perfect. And there's a lot of me reasons to interfere.
No, I mean, definitely. I think at the end of the day, one of the main reasons why America decides to step in any global event is
money.
Because they've done it before. And if they don't do it now, then it kind of ruins their reputation in a sense.
Yeah.
This reputation of like America is, because America is very ethnocentric. And if you don't know what that means, it just ethnocentric means when you think that your country is what the world revolves around.
Yeah.
And Americans are very ethnocentric. That's why we get a bad rep.
Yeah. But I think anybody that lives in any country like has a right to think that too. Like I'm not saying it's correct, but I'm just saying that like if you've never been to anywhere outside the world, you know, especially in like North Korea where you're like inevitably ethnocentric, you know what I'm trying to say? It's because you have less access to the world and stuff like that. You know?
I mean, of course, obviously, but at the same time, in other countries, like especially in the eastern side of the world, the most like the secondary language there is English.
Yeah.
And that's because they basically teach people on the eastern side of the world English so that they can communicate with us.
Yeah, but I also think of just how media is allowed in different countries, like not just the Middle East, but also in Russia and China. Like there's a lot of, you know, when you go to China, you can't access Google. Like you're not allowed to, when you go there, you're not allowed to go on Google and stuff and search things. And when you're in Russia, you're not supposed to see other news coverage of other things. You know what I'm trying to say? And I think that America is so ethnocentric is because we are so kind of spoiled here. Like we are allowed the information of all the worlds, but you know we still have patriots political figures telling us like America first, especially like just with racists, the KKK people and this and that. Like it starts with just their egotistic side first of what they are better than other people, and then it sprouts to America is the reason why I can be better than everybody else, you know, because I have my right to put on a Klan shirt or this and that or hate Asian people and this and that because it's our freedoms.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like I said, most Americans are kind of like this. That's why we get a bad rep. You see it in TV shows and movies all the time when Americans go to European countries and shit like that. Of like people make fun of Americans all the time. That's just it's a meme. And so I think
I also think that paints other countries in a bad light because I don't think that's necessarily true everywhere. Like I don't think everywhere Americans go, they're like, oh, this and that. Because even here, like when we see white people here, we're like, oh, white people.
No, I mean, obviously, like I just think it's something that obviously has been more focused on to this point. It's just something that most people are more aware of than anything. That Americans are more ethnocentric, even if like to not get into the A.M.C. section with a certain character who kind of said something similar to one of the main characters of like, oh, all you Americans are all the same. Yeah.
Again, though, I just still think that has, I mean, there's very little representation or at least popularized representation in terms of foreigners who we would be foreign to when we go to their countries, accepting Americans. Because I think more often than not, that's honestly the case. You know, I think aside from reasons of like greed or you're just, you know, jealous of other people, like, you know, you think all Americans are rich, you know, and this and that, and you go there, you want to be like, oh, this and that. I just think that also our media and our shows represent foreigners in a bad way that like make us dislike the idea of seeing them, which in reality denies us perspective. you know, to just venture outwards and stuff. Because most people that I hear that have traveled to other countries is have an awesome time. This is an Instagrammer I follow. I think his name is Jai Kicho. I gotta put it up to make sure. I'll put it on the supplementary. He is the best, man. He not only does all like the shout outs for street vendors in New York City and whatever, but he's been to like Kenya, he's been to Korea, he's been to a whole bunch of other countries, and of course he only puts the good parts in. But I mean, it just goes to show he what he stresses is how kind and welcoming they are and how open they are to teaching you about their areas and stuff. Because this is a little different. But I saw a video of some white guy wearing a sombrero and a mustache, and he went around to college students and stuff, and he asked like some white girl, some black guy, this and that. They were like, "Well, do you think what I'm wearing is offensive?" Some white girl was like, "Yeah, like you don't understand what it's like to appropriate other people's cultures. Like what you're doing right now is so this and that." Some black guy was like,
I love how you got in character for that.
"Yeah, because them little douchebag dickheads, I think they know everything." The black guy was like, "Well, are you Mexican?" And the guy was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, yeah, then I think what you're doing is, you know, wrong and this and that." And mind you, I'm Mexican. So when I see people on Halloween dressed up in sombreros and mustaches, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like even when we see boxers come out, that like black boxers in particular, they come out in sombreros and this and that. A lot of Mexicans get heated. Now that can be for a lot of reasons, you know, but a lot of it is because are they celebrating the culture or are they making fun of it to rise up their views and get people to get mad against them, to you know, bet against them and stuff. But in the same video with the white guy wearing a sombrero, he asked Mexicans, like legit Mexicans. He's like, "Are you upset at my outfit?" Every single one of them. And of course, he chose which one's going to the video, so we can only know. But every one of them were like, "No, what you're wearing is fine. Like, you know, you know, it looks nice. It looks this and that." That could be one thing, what could be other. But I don't know. I also saw some video, and this is just complete like b-hole for sure. But there's also a video where there was about 6 black people like lined up in a line, right? And they asked like, "Do you think it's okay for white people to wear dreads?" Right? And at the count of 3, they were to go to the left, which is agree, or to the left to agree, or right to disagree. And about most of them went to the right to say yes, they can wear dreads, and the people on the left were like, "No, they can't wear dreads."
Okay.
And the idea, and I still think that if you get mad at somebody wearing a certain hairstyle, you need to reevaluate your life, because that's dumb. I think it's dumb. I think Vikings wore dreads. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you don't own a hairstyle, you know? And I get the reasons you'd be upset about it, but there's also a lot of realistic things to look at in terms of what people are trying to do when they change their hair to any sort of way.
You know, I'll just say to that, White Label American, a podcast that we are kind of familiar with. Actually posted something on their story today of some girl who was basically responding to her fans questioning her appropriation of her clothing, because she's a black girl, but she dressed very European in terms of like wearing like Scottish things or things like that, or just like things from other countries in Europe. And people were like, "Is this appropriation?" And she was just kind of like, you know, I don't really see it as appropriation as much as just, this is a style that I like.
Yeah, you prefer that clothing because at the end of the day, I mean, we were all born naked. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to wear clothes. We choose to because it's the, you know, societal norm that we follow. I know that's a little like, hey, man, like, you know, this and that.
All right, stop with your kumbaya shit.
But it's true. And I think that, like, a lot of people are just so full of themselves that they feel they have to overtake the world. And if you need to see reasoning to this, there's a video of some black woman going up to some white guy in dreads in school, and she just keeps following him around, and she's like, "Stop appropriating my culture. Like, you are doing everything wrong to my culture." Just fucking harassing him, and he's just like, "Hey, can you just leave me alone? Like, I'm just trying to like exist."
He sounds like this. "Come on, man, just leave me alone."
Oh, so what does the black woman sound like? Oh, now you know what I mean.
It's funny to make fun of white people, okay, Frankie?
Yeah, and that's the sad America we live in. It's fun to make fun of anybody, Javi. That's the real thing about it. Watch old Mad TV. It's fucking hilarious. Look up Bobby Lee Mad TV. You're gonna laugh your ass off. Look up anything in the past before we all started becoming pussies, and you're gonna laugh your ass off. The reason you don't laugh now is because you're surrounded by people who are gonna be like, "Hey, you're not supposed to laugh at that. You know that when you laugh at that, it's actually a microaggression." And I'm actually very PC at the moment, so I'm gonna have to, you know, look at my stones, my crystals, you know, all that bullshit. You're like, man, just be a human being. You know, realistically aside, there's racism, there's a lot of this and that, there's a lot of colorism and all that stuff, and for sure it's a real problem. But I also think that this was a hell of a b-hole. You know? But back to China and Taiwan. Unless you want to throw anything else in there. You don't want to imitate the black girl? Very curious. You know what she sounded like? She was like, hey, can you stop appropriating my culture?
Hello, can you stop appropriating my culture? That's exactly what she sounded
like. That's 100% how she sounded like.
Oh wait.
Hello.
Oh wait, do you hear that, Frankie?
Oh, who's that?
I think that's our guest for today's episode.
Oh shit. Come on in.
Oh my.
That was a door opening.
Oh my God. Well, it's Satan.
Oh, what's up, Satan?
Satan, welcome to the show.
What's up, big red?
Hello.
Oh shit.
Oh my God, it's so nice to see you, Satan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Hey, Satan, how was the how was your prostate exam?
My prostate, amazing.
Amazing. His finger didn't fall off when he stuck it in your asshole?
I chomped it off. It was delicious.
Nice. Saying it's been a while. I fucking missed you, bro. Honestly speaking, like, can I give you a hug?
Come on, bring it in, fam.
Frankie's now dead. He hugged the devil and he's burned. That was really good, bro. Saying we gotta have you back. We gotta get back to China and Taiwan.
I gotta get back to work now.
All right. Any last words before you go, Satan?
Thank you for letting me on the show.
Thank you. Can you say "Make America Great Again"?
Make America great again.
Fucking nice. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome. Fuck China and Taiwan, Rich. Satan needs his own podcast, bro. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, Javi, it's Satan number 2, I think.
Oh
so.
my God.
Oh my God.
It's Satan with 2 N's.
Satan with Satan.
Satin.
Satin. All right. Ask him a question.
Satin, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hey.
Oh, Satin, have you been smoking recently?
I've been smoking a vape lately.
I was just curious. Nothing that's like just blurred that out entirely.
I think you're triggering my microaggressions.
I'm very sorry, Satan. Do you want to cut yourself to feel a little bit better?
Yeah, but I'll do it later because I don't want to make a mess.
It's okay. I'll clean it up.
You'll clean my blood.
I'll clean it up.
My blood's kind of dirty.
It's all right. I'll use it for potions later.
Javi, you're so nice.
That's what I do.
I gotta go though.
Come on. Just catch yourself a little bit. Come on.
I gotta go.
Couple slices. Come on.
Maybe later. I like how I got a Chicano accent at the end. Maybe later. Holmes. Because for those who don't know, the devil's Mexican.
Without a doubt. Only drinks tequila.
Only drinks tequila. I had a taco of pig nose the other day.
Taco of pig nose.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It was kind of like squishy. I didn't like it that much, but I tried it though because I was like, I'm gonna try it. But cow tongue, you ever had cow tongue? You ever had lengua?
Nah, I haven't.
Fucking delicious, bro.
Oh yeah.
Go get some tacos, get some lengua. Trust me.
That's not chewy.
No, it's not. It's actually. I mean, it's like steak with a little layer, but it's fucking good, man. I really recommend it. Get that shit. But yeah.
Satan, what do you think?
I've had it. It's pretty good.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
I thought you were on vacation.
I thought you were supposed to be at work.
No.
Who's running the place?
Oh shit. Next week we'll have God. God's more boring.
He's more vanilla.
Yeah, he's more OD vanilla. Like gluten-free, sugar-free vanilla. Your saying voice is crazy good, bro. That's fucking that almost concerned me, bro. Back to China and Taiwan. Speaking of Satan, no, I'm kidding. So there's some history with the people that fled to Taiwan. And this I'm gonna just read it from Wikipedia because the most reliable thing on the world. But it kind of shows you what happened within China that caused people to leave it and end up in Taiwan. Okay. So the retreat of the government of the Republic of China to Taiwan, also known as the Kuomintang Retreat to Taiwan, or the Great Retreat in Taiwan, refers to the exodus of the remnants of the internationally recognized Kuomintang rule government of the Republic of China. Basically, within China, there was the Republic of China trying to basically like, be like, hey, China, this sucks ass. Like, we don't want to do what you're doing right now. But in the Chinese Civil War, on December 7th, 1949, the Republic of China lost.
Okay.
So they were trying to fight with China overall, and they got their ass kicked. So they basically fled, and approximately 2 million ROC troops, Republic of China troops, took part in the retreat. In addition to many civilians and refugees fleeing the advance of the People's Liberation Army, this is the China's army, who was part of the Chinese Communist Party. So essentially, to like sum it up, on December 7th, 1949, people fled China because they got their ass kicked and they went to Taiwan.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was a Chinese Civil War.
I didn't know either.
It's crazy, right? We only think of America. But
Ethnocentric ass motherfuckers, look at us.
Facts. Just like how they want to change slavery to a different word in schools today. Fucking dumbass white people. Again, so the U.S. is saying no, the Taiwan Strait will always remain an international waterway and it's guaranteed under international law, but China says no. China always says no. Like, we're not going to look at it as that.
China kind of says no. They're like,
you can't make us.
I don't really think that's okay. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Coronavirus. So after Pelosi's visit, live fire drills were announced last Thursday, and some occurred in areas that Taiwan says are territorial waters. And now in 1979, the U.S. adopted a, quote, one China, end quote, policy. This policy acknowledges but does not endorse Beijing's claim over Taiwan.
Okay.
That's interesting. And when a lot of people talk about, especially the U.S. leaders, when they talk about the situation and what would happen if Taiwan was attacked, they remain very vague about it. So they remain super vague about it. And that's the problem with how we address the situation. Because we're all kind of like, hey, we're not going to fuck with that. Biden, though, has pledged to defend the island. So I feel like that's important.
I think I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's super important. And it's crucial because at the end of the day, like, I don't want Taiwan.
You see, he's good for something.
Concrete floors.
He's good for making empty claims.
So the People's Republic of China is part of the Chinese Communist Party, and Taiwan has never been a part of it. For decades, its population lived under martial law imposed by a U.S.-backed administration led by Chiang Kai-shek, who had fled China after being overthrown by Mao Zedong's Communist Revolution of 1949. China and the U.S. twice came close to going to war over Taiwan in the 50s. Wow. So imagine that would have happened, bro. I would have been like, what?
In the 50s, that's before World War II.
That's before. Oh, really? I don't know shit about time and thing, but that's crazy. Imagine, bro.
That'd be like, that probably would have, that could have been World War II.
Facts. And then World War II would have been World War III.
That's kind of crazy.
It is, man. And in the 80s and 90s, Taiwan democratized and China opened up its economy after the Cold War. But in 1995 and 1996, China objected a visit by President Lee Teng-hui of Taiwan to Cornell University, which is his alma mater. After he tried to visit, Taiwan fired missiles near Taiwan to warn President Lee Teng-hui. God damn. It's crazy.
That's wild.
And then Bill Clinton, he talks like this. I can't do Bill Clinton. He you want to hear my impression of Bill Clinton getting head by Monica Lewinsky?
Go ahead.
Right there, damn it. I hope Hillary don't hear about this. That's my impression. Do your impression of Bill Clinton as Satan getting head from Monica Lewinsky. Awesome. After China sent missiles to Taiwan because of the president trying to visit, Bill Clinton, he then sent aircraft carriers to opposite ends of the Taiwan Strait to end the crisis. And that's pretty much all I got for Taiwan and China. Again, it's a little political and this and that, but it definitely is something major that's happening in the world. And I've been wanting to cover it because, of course, that's just the short gist of what's happening in the recent times. But even hearing that with the whole almost going to war in the 50s and stuff, I feel like, again, this is nothing new. And they may have not been in the headlines maybe, before the big announcement and stuff, but that had to have been in the headlines in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy.
I mean, definitely just kind of, I'm glad that we finally took a full dive into this. definitely we learned some things that we didn't talk about
Hell yeah.
in the last times we've touched on this.
Yeah, man.
But it's wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It is very similar to Russia, Ukraine. I
Yeah.
could totally see this. I feel like if anything to kind of relate the two,
Mhm.
I feel like China is holding off because of Russia and Ukraine.
Ooh, probably, right? That makes a lot of sense.
Like if anything, they're probably like, there's too much going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
let's not stir the pot anymore.
And I think it's so Asian because they're Asian, so they stir pots.
Oh, look, it's being racist now. Look
I don't know
how
about
the
that. I don't know.
turntables have turned.
You did a whole accent. I just said that Asians use pots. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We got to reevaluate a couple things. I want to see who China's allies are. So, China's. Well, I'm gonna just read this. The first thing that pop up is the Regional Comprehensive Economy Partnership is a free trade agreement between Asia Pacific nations of Australia, Brunei, Cambodia, China, Indonesia, Japan, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, New Zealand, the Philippines, Singapore, and South Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam. So I don't know if that exactly answers my questions, but okay, so I may be wrong because there's a question that says, is China in any military alliances? And it says China has no formal alliance with any nation. So what the fuck, Google? That we gotta throw up in a supplementary then.
I guess just hearing that, like, one of the big reasons why the U.S. hasn't gotten directly involved with Russia and Ukraine is because of NATO. That's a big factor. And because if they get involved, that technically means everyone else in NATO would have to get involved. Mm-hmm. But if China doesn't have any military allegiance with anyone, why haven't they just gone for the attack?
Yeah. I think maybe because if they did, it would be crazy shit for them, no? Like it would just be a response from a whole bunch of people towards them.
So then do you think that China wouldn't be ready for a world war?
They have one of the biggest militaries. I don't remember exactly, but I remember when we looked up like the strengths of armies. We have that in the supplementary, so I could take a look at it back. China is definitely one of them. China, Russia, and America definitely have a huge military, and so does North Korea.
Russia has a pretty big military, but we've seen clearly how Ukraine, one small country, has defended against them.
I still think that's bullshit. I still think that
they're doing it. What do you mean?
What I'm trying to say is that I think the coverage of what's happening just very much leads towards Ukraine's coverage only. I don't think 100% that's exactly what's happening. Like just like you said, like to see it to believe it type stuff. Like
no, I understand.
You know, I think very much Ukraine is getting fucked in the ass right now, and they don't.
No, I mean all I'm saying is that Ukraine. The facts stand. Ukraine hasn't been taken over yet.
But why for sure that. But I'm saying why do you think they've been so successful to fight back with Russia?
It comes from a lot of them aid that they've been getting from around the world and things like that.
That's what I think. And I don't know. I just still think that Russia has a lot to pull out in terms of, real domination. I'm not rooting for Russia, of course. I just think that
kind of sounds like you are
a little bit. But I very much think that when I see all these headlines, like they all say the same thing. Russia surprisingly, holds off Russia. Russian soldiers all dead because of this. I'm like, how come there's no real coverage on how good Russia's doing? Where is that coverage?
Well, and I know you care a lot about that. That's why when I've done the Russia-Ukraine updates in the past, I've covered about both sides. Like, obviously, there are going to be losses on both sides.
For sure.
But I think it is noteworthy to mention the fact that Ukraine, a small country compared to Russia, a very small country compared to Russia. Again, Russia is like basically the size of our moon.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're holding off that against a country like that.
Again,
that's noteworthy.
It's noteworthy because there's the only notes to refer to. Like the only notes to refer to are the ones that cherish. I mean, I think it's being done schematically too. I mean, schemingly too. Like I think it's only being done that way to support Ukraine and to have others view Ukraine as dominating back. But I think if you look at it just in terms of rationale, if Russia is so huge, I think those forces in Russia will eventually deplete much faster than Russia is to surrender. Being Putin's
you mean Ukraine's forces will deplete faster than Russia's?
Yeah, because in general it just makes sense because of the power.
Yeah,
I mean just the ammo in regards to troops, it just makes sense. And again, I'm not hoping for it, but I just think that we are being just our image of everything's being skewed. And I also, I see it in the news every day, but I also don't see it stress as much anymore. You know, I don't see it on the headlines, which it should be. Because if it was in the headlines back then and it's still happening, it should be in the headlines now.
You know, it's funny that we're even talking about this because I was literally just thinking about this the other day where I was like, yo, man, the Russia-Ukraine shit is still going on.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I haven't seen any big like revolvements or any big changes happen?
Like it's kind of like right now, like what the fuck is kind of like we know what's happening, but we don't like what exactly is it? We should do like a little segment on it, like maybe next episode or just like a individual episode on just that. Like both of us, you know, we both usually just kind of like one takes over the show and I take over the show. We go back and forth. But we should like use both our manpower in terms of research and try to like cover it as much as we can just to update ourselves and stuff like that. I don't know when.
That'd be really hard to plan though.
Yeah.
Just because like we don't want to overlap with our notes.
Oh no, I mean like instead of like that being part of the episode, like that could just be one small episode and stuff. Like just the whole, you know what I mean? Like an hour like session of just covering Russia Ukraine and like adding it on to both our jobs for next week.
If you guys want to hear a whole fucking bonus episode of us really diving into Russia Ukraine, we'll fucking do it.
Because that'll motivate me to like look into it. Because for me, I'm just like, you know, like this is, you know, and no, respectfully, like, you know, like I generally when we run the episode and stuff, like we have a responsibility to uphold. You know, doing all this research, like it's not just something that we just Google 3 things and we're like, oh, let's just say these 3 things. Like it's hard to come up with notes and stuff like that. And I think if we're both help with that responsibility, you know, we'll put it on the supplementary. Like, would you want to hear a Russia Ukraine update? If we hear some feedback, let's do that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nah, I think overall, I think it's a very important topic for sure. I think it's something that should have more eyes on it.
Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I think a lot of people underestimate this situation and underestimate how big of a problem this could be. Yeah. If it grows any larger than what it already is.
Yeah, man.
Especially since it's been happening since the 50s.
Yeah, man. And probably even beforehand, because that just was like main attacks at that moment. And I mean, the 49 was when the Civil War was happening. And even before that, like, you know, tension has always been stirred up. So that's very crucial to always look into and shit.
Yeah. And again, kind of speaking back to the A.M.C section to not spoil anything, but they do talk about how war never ends, really.
Yeah.
So this situation is probably gonna get worse before it ever gets better.
Sadly, that's the sad part about things, and but it'll be interesting as fuck, and we'll cover that shit. you know what I'm trying to say.
Goddamn, I mean, you know, we will, but
I mean, we ain't running shit. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I mean. Like interesting. You know, it has no connotation to it. It has no positive, negative. It's just interesting. You know, it's neutral. Gotta come back with that shit. And but yeah, that's pretty much my shit on the thing. And let me move on to the next topic.
Nice.
So next topic, this was a very lucky one for me because when I was doing my research, like this is one of the moments where I was like, damn, bro, like I don't want to go political again. I don't want to go international. I kind of want to just go like calm little stories. And then I found one that was awesome. And so I found suicides in courtrooms, right? And I found one story that was very quick. So whenever I find a quick story, I'm like, let me find 2 others that resemble it because there's no way it hasn't happened before. And I'm going to go by the first one. So in Texas, there was a man. I've been to Texas. Texas is fucking awesome. So in Texas, a man by the name of Edward Leclerc, like the dessert eclair, but his name is Leclerc. And he's 57. Well, was 57. He was charged with 5 counts of sexual assault on a person between the age of 14 and 17. Oh, so wow. He's a bad noodle. A terrible man.
He's not a good star.
He has no good stars on him. He has less stars than anybody else in this world. Except Hitler.
You're not wrong.
No one's better than the other, but they're just both shitty people. One was way shittier than the other. During the trial, he was out on bond, meaning he didn't have the restrictions like someone in custody, aka he didn't have to stay overnight. He could have gone in and out of the courtroom and stuff like that, but he was still facing the charge. And he was a former Navy mechanic and corporal recruiter. He claimed he was innocent. And before the verdict was given out, the jury deliberated for 3.5 hours, right? He faced a possible sentence of 100 years or probation, anything in between as well. So that's a lot of fucking punishment, which he deserves, right? When the guilty verdict was read aloud, Edward was like, holy shit. And he began to drink from a plastic water bottle with a clear liquid. Ooh.
The fact that you even bring that up, I'm like,
You're right again. What something's gonna happen, right? So as he was drinking it, his hand was shaking, kind of like you can't really see it, but he was kind of just shaking his hand and drinking.
and actually spilling.
Whoops! But watch the YouTube video. Watch me spill some Topo Chico. And yeah, his hands were shaking as he was drinking, but his lawyer was like, "Oh, he's probably nervous because the verdict is being said." And they don't know what was in the bottle, but basically after he drank, he started to throw up. And he began to vomit, and he was transported to a hospital where he died 45 minutes later.
God damn.
Yeah, they're investigating the cause of death, but they're pretty sure he killed himself. But after he died, the jury came back on Friday, and the judge told them it's not their fault.
That way, what do you mean? That like it's not the jury's fault that he died?
Yeah. I thought that was the funniest part of the whole article.
What the fuck? Like,
imagine like they completely knew, and the judge was like, "It's not your fault," and the one was like, "It might be my fault."
like I could totally imagine like at least like 3 or 4 people in that crowd, like maybe a couple of Karens being like, "Oh my god, I killed the man today." Like, oh my god.
That's fucking, so I thought that was so funny that the judge would say that to them. Do you think those jurors feel something close to handing a death penalty down?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Have you ever watched 12 Angry Men?
Mm-mm. What is that again? Remind me. That sounds so familiar.
It's a classic. I don't remember when it was filmed, but it was like 50s, 40s.
Is that a
maybe.
juror? Is that referring to a juror?
So
a jury, whatever?
it's 12 men that are the jury of a court trial, and the whole movie is literally them just in the room, just talking about, is this person guilty or innocent?
That's a genius movie.
And that's the whole movie.
That sounds like a genius ahead of its time movie. I hope they remake something like that today. That's awesome. I hope they make a real. They can, because I don't think you could talk about it. But they probably don't record jurors, right?
Nah,
right? I wish they would. That sounds awesome. Because there has to be some real intense shit when it comes down to stuff like.
Yeah, you see a lot of people of like, no, he's guilty. No, he's innocent, and back and forth.
I would like to
like
see
that.
the Kyle Rittenhouse like jurors. Like, it's that one white lady like, no, he's fine. He didn't do anything wrong.
He's just misunderstood.
They're like, all right, bitch, chill. Nothing. No.
She's crying and everything.
I'll smack the shit out of her, bro. Like, there's no cameras in here, bitch. She comes out with the red mark on her face. Are you ready to give your verdict?
Yes.
But yeah, so I thought that story was, quick and juicy, pretty funny. Like, but it's crazy how he committed suicide in the courtroom. Like, crazy they didn't check his water. Like, what the fuck?
Pretty funny. It's pretty hyperbolic. God damn.
I laughed. My bad. Serious situation. But this next one is crazy, right? Fucking crazy. I think it's what's that word? Doozy.
A spectacle.
A spectacle. Definitely this one. Okay, so my man's Michael Marin. Remember the name, right? He faced 21 years in prison, right? He graduated from law school, traveled the world working for Wall Street investment banks. He was a millionaire, collected Picasso's paintings, and drove a Rolls Royce. And he flew his own plane.
Oh shit.
Michael Marin. Remember the name. So there's a book on him called Burning Man. And Marin, his story starts with buying a house in Phoenix, Arizona. It was 10,000 square feet, and 2008 he bought it. This was when the real estate market was collapsing, right? Remember the just every fucking 3 seconds. So the mortgage payment.
Remember the name.
Michael Marin. So his mortgage payment at the time, and with interest, was only $17,250 a month. Mind you, he's a millionaire, so he got the money to pay that. But at the time, he wasn't able to afford the house because he had not been working. So he was like, how the fuck am I pay for this house? And then he came up with the scheme. He came up with the raffle. And he was going to raffle off the house and make himself $1 million.
Okay, holy shit.
Right? You ever seen Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's like, and to
like
make...
the first two.
Oh, man. Basically, like, we're going to do this and this to make $1 million. And then the guy's like, isn't $1 million too little? He's like, okay, $1 billion. Just fucking watch Austin Powers. So funny. So he was like, I got to make $1 million. So he sold raffle tickets for $25 a pop. and the proceeds went to the Child's Crisis Center. And he was like, nice. So he was like, how do I promote this to make a lot of money? And what he did is that he scaled Mount Everest and did interviews from the top of the mountain or while he was scaling it. And the interviews were shown on local news networks to promote the raffle.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually watch those videos on YouTube. Now, Joe Epps, who's a forensic accountant, explained how Marin's finances were kind of fucked up to prosecutors because eventually he went to court. They discovered that Marin paid $2,550,000 to buy the house. And with his friends, they set up a bogus second mortgage to increase the value by $950,000. So this second mortgage didn't exist at all.
Yeah.
But basically, it didn't exist. And in April 2009, the Arizona Attorney General ruled the raffle that he did that it was illegal. So they were like, no, you can't do that. And now at that point, he was like, bruh, now he has to make a payment of $2 million to lenders.
Oof.
Yeah. And this was 6 months ahead of the time. Or else he would have to incredibly heighten his mortgage payments. So he was fucked financially either way. So he's like, what am I do? Well, what would you do? Right? And
I know what he did.
You know what he did? You heard about the story before?
Well, I know where this is going. He kills himself.
Oh, yeah. But before that, right? So he climbs Mount Everest. He has a raffle. He sells a fake house. He makes $1 million, right? But then now he has to pay the money back. And he's like, fuck, I can't do this. So on July 5th, 2009, he burns down the house.
Bruh.
And
my God.
The crazy thing is that when he burns down the house, he manages to escape. Right? The fire department.
Wait, so he burned it while he was inside of it? Yeah. Wow. He really didn't think it through.
But look at this. He escaped the house wearing scuba gear that was conveniently placed near him during the fire. So
Jesus Christ.
When the fire department investigator, Jeff Peabody, handled the case, they came up to him and they were like, can you believe it? And he was like, no, like, I can't believe this shit. You know? He was like, how the fuck this guy escaped with the scuba diving suit, like with the oxygen tank and all that stuff. But Michael Marin, he told his story about escaping on the news. So he went on the news and he was like,
my God.
on his hospital bed. So he was on his hospital bed on the news saying like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I escaped and shit like that. The investigator, Jeff Peabody, when he investigated, he found 4 parts of the house where he saw that the fire was intentionally set with phone books being used to spread the fire. Because, science. On June 28th in court, when he heard the guilty verdict in court.
This is why phone books are bad.
Yeah, fuck phone books. Well, I kind of miss them shits.
You know what's funny? Real quick, I just watched Paper Girls.
What's that?
It's a show that just came out on Prime. It's based on a comic of the same name.
Okay.
And
nice.
I was very close to pushing that to our comic for the next episode.
Ooh, okay.
But I decided not to. But they just released the first season on Prime, 8 episodes, pretty good. Mm-hmm. But there's a moment because it's all about time travel and these 4 girls who
made of paper.
Nope. It's these 4 paper girls. Like girls who literally deliver the paper.
Okay.
And it takes place during the 80s. And it's a time travel show or a time travel story. They get lost in time and shit like that. And there's a moment where they're in the future and one of them's like, okay, great. We'll just look for this person in a phone book.
Yeah.
And like the person in the future is like,
fuck you mean,
we
bitch?
don't have phone books anymore. Yeah. And the girl goes, what? What are we supposed to do?
She just kills herself. She's just like, I can't live in a world without phone book.
Like
end the show.
Like the way that actress delivered that line of like, what are we supposed to do? I was like, that is so genuine. I love that. It's so good.
If time travel was invented, there's no more future or past. It's just whatever time you're in.
It's just time.
It's crazy, man. I've been watching so much Rick and Morty. That fucking show is the best, bro.
It is. It's pretty
so
good.
Shout out to Rick and Morty.
Shout out to Rick and Morty.
Who are the writers again?
Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland.
Shout out to those motherfuckers. Because I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I'm finally going to get into the 3rd and 4th and 5th. But honestly speaking, man, I think that show can show people about themselves almost. It's just so raw, so good and hilarious and Yeah, man, I just really enjoy that show.
It gets real when you don't expect it to.
Nobody exists on purpose. We're all gonna die, and nothing matters. So at the end, they see that he set the fire on purpose with 4 parts of the house using phone books to stretch the fire. And on June 28th, he hears the guilty verdict, essentially saying that he's gonna spend the next 21 years in jail. So sucks for Michael Marin. So he reaches into his bag, and you can't see it on the audio, but he covers his mouth, kind of like in shock. Like he hears guilty, and he closes his eyes, and then he like kind of covers his mouth, and he chews. He starts to chew, and he takes a pill. He started to convulse, collapse, and later he died. The crazy thing is that the fire investigator, Jeff Peabody, helped him as soon as he started to convulse. You know,
Wow.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy, Jeff Peabody.
Seriously, holy shit.
He's bald, though. The crazy...
Wait, he's bald, you said?
Jeff Peabody, the fire department investigator.
bald?
He's bald.
Nothing wrong with that. You can be as bald as you want.
I'm probably vegan, too.
Yo, shout out to Abraham.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Jamal. That's my vegan bald friend. Who's Abraham?
Wasn't that his name? Fuck, I fucked it up.
I was like, Jamal. It's all right.
Jonathan fucked me up.
Slime
Fucked me up. I'm getting everyone's names confused now.
Shout out to fake Jamal Abraham. Anyway, apparently what he used to poison himself was something that sells for $68 per 200 grams. That week, it was on sale.
Wow.
And the investigator said that he went out with the grand finale in courtroom and similar to how he lived his whole life. So I guess Michael Marin, he tried to finesse the world, but at the end of the day, he finessed himself.
At the end of the day, he did finesse the world. He said, check this shit out.
Guilty? Nope. Dead.
Psych!
Yeah, man. I fucking love that story. And I know definitely before, like even before the show, I seen this article a long time ago. But it's a great little story. You know, I can't believe there's a book on it. The book, I wouldn't read a book about it, to be honest with you. Like, I just watched a little video.
I want to read it.
I'll get you the book for Christmas. But it's crazy. I don't know. But
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, man,
Like,
it's crazy.
So remind me, who's the first person that this opened up with?
Oh, sir, it started off with the Texas guy who sexually assaulted somebody who was between the age of 14, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one that killed himself in courtroom by drinking some water.
Yeah.
The cloudy water. The second guy, Michael Marin, was the one that basically did the raffle for Mount Everest and stuff, and he ate a little pill. I think it was cyanide. I think so. But it was on sale when he bought it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I have a third story, which kind of like takes a little turn of the suicide in courtrooms. This one's a little sadder, to be honest with you.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's a little buzzkill. Should have ended off with the Michael Marin, but fuck it. So there was an 8-year-old from Michigan. I know, right? What a dirty state. No, I'm kidding.
No, he's 18. What the fuck? God damn it.
Whoops. Shout out to the Lions. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Let's go. It's in Michigan. The 18-year-old is Tarnopolsky. He was charged with statutory rape after having sex with the 14-year-old.
Oh.
You gotta take back now. Now, he disputed the claims that the sex that they had was consensual. Well, wait, no. He disputed the claims that said that it wasn't consensual, but he said that they for sure had sex. His proof to dispute the claims were that he had texts that told the story, but the parents of the 14-year-old girl pushed the case to sprout.
Uh-huh.
The parents claimed that he threw the daughter down and other scenarios that made him seem guilty and rapey, basically. Right? Now, the spokesman for the prosecutor's office, Maria Miller, said, our witness, the 14-year-old, was going to be our evidence in the case. But the 14-year-old, whose name was Samantha Kelly, killed herself.
Oof.
So she didn't necessarily kill herself in the courtroom, but she hung herself in her bedroom. And it's really sad because she was found hanging by her 12-year-old brother. So just tragedy all around. And again, the Maria Miller said that her testimony was going to be our evidence in the case, and that her death removed the possibility of evidence and testimony that would have helped it. So after killing herself, Michigan law requires the defendant's statement in order to continue on with the case and sentencing. So the case was dismissed. completely. And the Tarnopolsky guy is basically free. So the mom said, my daughter did not get any justice before this, and she is not getting any justice now. And she also added, this is our justice system. Before the case was dismissed, court authorities took her into a separate room, and prosecutors explained to her that the case had to be dismissed because of Michigan law. And that's just a tragedy.
Yeah.
That's just sad overall. There's no jokes in that one. Now I was gonna make a joke. I want to make a joke. The court authority said, "Come hang out." Sorry, that's just bad taste. Yeah, I mean, it's sad as fuck. It's super crazy, but it's also a big, like, for sure. Like, I get her criticism of the justice system, but I also think that it's important to see just how important it is to take the case all the way through. Because if the Tarnopolsky says at the end of the day, he still has sex with a 14-year-old girl, regardless of the consensuality. It still is, if it's illegal, it's illegal. You shouldn't be doing that because, children that are very young are prone to being very influenced by the words of older people. So I'm not trying to justify this guy. Fuck Brock Turner. That's the guy who raped some girl behind a trash can. He only got 6 months in jail. Yeah, some white privilege shit. But I mean, it's just sad, and at the end of the day, like that's why the justice system, as imperfect as it is super crucial just to get through the whole case, to put out all the facts and everything, just to get that real, finalized and thorough closure.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just a sad case. No Michael Marin, no Texas guy who killed himself. That's just like, I mean, poor 12-year-old. Like, not only did he lose his sister, but he also has to involve with something that like is very serious.
That it kind of reminds me of this one situation that I kind of wanted to bring up last episode.
No, I'm kidding. What's up?
Because with Blink-182 specifically, they have a song called Adam's Song, and it's a very depressing song. It came out on their third album, Enema of the State.
Okay.
And there's actually a story of a kid who hung himself in the garage of his house.
Damn, bro.
And he had that song on repeat on the radio.
Oh my god.
Or on the boombox or whatever while he hung himself.
Wait, the song was called Adam's Song?
Adam's Song.
And so the song's not about him.
It's not about him.
It was just a song that came out that's very sad, but he hung himself to that song.
It's a very depressive song of just kind of being stuck in a depressive rut. But I will say the ending chorus is sort of a pushing idea of to get back out into the world.
Oh, okay.
So
I mean, I'm not blaming Blink-182 at all either. Like, I'm not. You may feel it because it's being played, but it's like they're not at fault for creating music that's any emotion. Like just like Eminem isn't at fault for your kid being a douchebag. Kind of invoking Eminem's words, but Eminem didn't make you shoot up a school,
Yeah, I mean, it just reminds me of that just because, like, some kid hung himself and, like, he was found by his family, and Blink didn't play that song for years live. Wow. They play the song now live, but they didn't play it for like at least 20 years.
No, but they must have been guilt-ridden afterwards.
Yeah,
that fucks with you, man. I mean, that's super sad. And I know there's probably not a lot of people like this, but like if you don't think like depression and suicidal thoughts are real and mental health, like if you really consider like a 14-year-old like hanging themselves, like that's crazy, man. That's like I know this is like all types of suicide are terrible and sad. We'll look it up right now. You can call 988, right, for the suicide number.
I'm not sure what the number is.
There used to be a suicide number that was much lengthier, but they changed it to 988. But I want to get the information right. So if you are dealing with it, then bear with me. Yeah, it's 988. All you gotta do is dial that on the phone now, and you are good. They have languages in English and Spanish and much more. And it's a suicide and crisis lifeline, and just 24/7. You can call whenever you want, toll free, and just call if you ever are feeling those thoughts, because that's more important than anything else. Like, just always know that. Yeah. But I mean, for anybody that doesn't think that shit is real, like, just think about that. Like, I mean, no, you don't want to, for the idiots that think it's unreal. Like, I can't imagine, man. That's like, not to be like joking about it, but like for a 14-year-old to kill himself is like a 14-year-old going to like a law school, and like, that's such a complicated way to kill yourself, So that's how you know that sadness is super true, Yeah. And damn, this is one story that I want to share with you. I always just forget to do it. It's crazy. Like sometimes I don't even want to cover it on the show. I kind of want to watch the documentary on YouTube. It's fucked. Yeah, it's fucked because it's like a mixture of two things, but it has to do with Bjork, right?
Bjork,
the artist.
I believe I've heard of his name, but I'm not familiar with his work.
Well, it's a woman. And mind you, me neither. She's an Icelandic singer. She was in The Northman, the movie.
Okay.
For no reason. Her and Willem Dafoe did not have to be in that movie. I think, again, that movie's alright. It was not that crazy.
Wait, Willem Dafoe was in that movie? I don't even remember that.
He was the guy at the bottom of the cave or whatever, and he's the guy with the mask that was doing all this crazy shit. That
was him?
Yeah, bro. That cast was crazy.
Shit.
Yeah. I realized it on a bit because the chin shit and the voice. Again, he did not have to be in the movie. They wasted money on him, and neither did Bjork, because Bjork was the witch lady thing. Like the fucking, don't look it up. Don't ever do this on the episode of podcast because I want to watch the shit with you and we could both do it. It's just so weird, man. At the end of the day, and you can watch it on YouTube, this guy is sitting in front of the camera with some words written in red in the back of the wall, and he's listening to the same Bjork song on loop. And at the end of the video, he shoots himself in the head.
Oof.
And it's still on YouTube. You can watch it. And his name's like Carlos something. It's crazy, bro. We'll put it on the supplementary. Maybe we could just cover it.
How is it still on YouTube?
That's what I'm saying. But I think it's because, oh no, you know what I think it is? It's because I think the blood splatter may be on the wall, but the actual gunshot to the head isn't. And this whole documentary on it. And when they asked Bjork about it, like, what do you think about this? She's like, I don't know what the fuck. Don't ask me that shit, you know? But it fucked me when I saw that shit. And he's Hispanic too. So I was like, ooh, like a little, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, not that also suicide matters the same. I'm just saying, like, you know, when you watch a Mexican motherfucker.
Ethnocentric ass motherfucker.
Only we exist. It's super wild, bro. That shit is crazy. His name is Carlos, I think.
That's wild.
Yeah. But those are technically that's not a suicide in the courtroom, but it was a suicide that affected the courtroom. You know? So, yeah, crazy shit.
Wow. Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't even know what to really say to that. It's just that's fucking wild.
Yeah, man.
I never expected people would try and commit suicide in the court case.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I always think they would prevent it by just doing preventative measures by getting rid of their water bottles, this and that. But
I always kind of imagined the idea of faking a suicide in prison.
Yeah.
Or something like that. The cameras turn off and suddenly he's gone or dead or something like that. But in court,
yeah, man,
in front of witnesses and shit like that, that's crazy.
They said, I'm not going to jail, bitch. You're not taking me.
Oh my god.
Actually, I just remember this for fucking some strange reason, but remember that story you told me about the guy who robbed a bank and then went on a plane, flew out with the parachute and
DB
survived?
Cooper?
They're making a movie about him.
Nice.
They're making a movie, bro, and I'm so excited about that shit, man. It's so crazy. So I'm excited for that to come out because it's been a long time coming. Because when you told me about that, I remember that's the first 3 episodes or some shit you told me that?
Something like that.
And then I was like, no way. And then you see it I saw it on YouTube. You can look it up. What was his name again?
DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. Such an awesome story, and they're making a movie finally. So let's fucking go. I think they are. If I'm lying to you, I'm so sorry. We'll make the movie. I might be lying, actually. I'm not sure. But
what the fuck? What did you see? What did you see?
There's a movie about a bank robbery, but there's 2 that I saw. So one of them may be one that resembles Dog Day Afternoon. But fuck, I might have lied to you. Because when the trailer started, I'm like, oh shit, this is it. And then it continued. I'm like, oh, yeah, it is.
Wow, we need to put that in the supplementary. Just Frankie is talking about a whole other movie.
So we'll make the movie. We'll make a claymation movie because we're not gonna act it out. That's hard as fuck.
Ran out of a plane and everything.
Like go to the park, get a little. You know, one of my favorite toys when I was younger. The parachute man with the parachutes. Oh, I love those toys. Even before GoPro was invented, I always wanted to just throw one off my roof and myself. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Just in the topic. Sorry. But just throwing off the roof and kind of get a camera that follows its way down. I've always wanted to do that as a kid, but I was like, how can I do that without having stretchy arms? And imagine a little camera you put on the parachute man. That'd be cool. Yeah.
That does some way down the parachute.
Yeah, something super. I mean, I'm sure that exists, but I don't know. I mean, if you know how to, hit me up so I could do that shit. Anyway, so anyways, my third story is Salman Rushdie, and I think the last time.
Okay, so spell me this person's name.
All right. Oh, it might be Salman Rushdie, but I say salmon because of the fish. It's spelled SALMAN space RUSHDIE. So it's definitely pronounced like that for sure. It's not Rick and Morty, but there's some cartoon. I think it's Bob's Burgers. In Bob's Burgers, they definitely refer to Salman Rushdie. Like Gene, he's like referring to a certain story, and Bob is like, "Oh, don't you mean this and that?" He's like, "By Salman Rushdie." They're like, "It's not Salman Rushdie." He's like, "It's by Salman Rushdie."
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's where I know the name from. But I don't know what the fuck he is, who he is. Even from that little reference, I don't know who he was. I just always know him as a name. TV raised me. So, he's a writer. He's an author. And he's written books like The Satanic Verses, The Moor's Last Sigh, Fury, and more, right? He was recently giving a speech at the Chautauqua Institution in Western New York. But then some crazy shit happened. As he sat down, some motherfucker went on stage and attacked him. His name was, the attacker, his name was, and I'll only say it once, Haiti Matar. He's 24 from New Jersey. Or Haiti. Fuck his name. Rushdie was stabbed 10 times. 10 times, bro.
Holy shit.
That's fucking crazy. How you not see this in the news? Like, I didn't see this in the news until I was looking for some stories, and I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
And to start it off, the reason I picked this is I wasn't gonna do this shit at all. I didn't care at all. And then when I saw the headline, it said he's finally off ventilators, and some person was commenting on it saying that this is a good fight for free speech and how we should adore it and also like admire free speech and allow it to thrive regardless. So he was stabbed 10 times, and after he was admitted to a hospital, doctors say he might lose an eye. He definitely has a damaged liver, and that the nerves in one of his arms were severed, or his both arms.
Damn.
Yeah. The attacker traveled by bus to get to the talk. He then bought a pass to attend the talk. The prosecutors said that the attack itself was premeditated, and his lawyer, the attacker, pled not guilty for some strange reason. No, of course. And he's scheduled in court this Friday at 3 p.m. As of now, he's being held without bail. He's being charged with second-degree attempted murder and assault with a weapon. When Salman Rushdie was stabbed, audience members attempted to administer first aid and even defend him. So that's pretty badass of the audience.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. It's fucking crazy. There's probably a bunch of old fucks there too because he's an author. So that's pretty cool. There was a video on TikTok that since has been removed, but it showed the scene after the attack. Some person kept screaming, "Oh my God," over and over again, which just adds on to the scenario. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is that the security at the institute that often hosts musicians and celebrity speakers had no bag checks and no metal detectors.
Interesting.
Now, the reason I think that's pretty important is because there's a guy named Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini who led Iran after its 1979 revolution. Because of Salman Rushdie's books, which I'll get into in a second, he issued an edict known as Fatwa on February 14th, 1989. It ordered Muslims to kill Mr. Rushdie.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Fucking crazy. So again,
Just because of what he was writing?
yeah, and I'll let you know in a second. The attackers, how can I say? The security was very low, and the attacker's neighbors said that they know little of him, but often saw him with his head down, and he never made eye contact with anybody. Right? Now, in Lebanon, the mayor of Yaroun, a village on the southern border with Israel, said that Mr. Matar's father lives there, and the authorities have been trying to reach him, but have no success. The father lives in a stone house in the village center and tends to flocks of goats and sheep, said the mayor, Ali Tif. Right? Now, Rushdie had been living under the threat of assassination since 1989, about 6 months after the publication of his novel, The Satanic Verses. The book fictionalized parts of the life of the Prophet Muhammad, which with depictions that offended some Muslims who believed the novel to be blasphemous.
Okay.
So it all comes down to religion. You
Yeah.
know? And I mean, bro, like that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Like if imagine like somebody's like Jesus sucks, and then Obama was like kill him, and like I didn't know how to handle this story. First of all, I'm not Muslim. I can't speak from that. I can't speak from how serious Muslims in their country take this, even Muslims in America. And I wanted to make some jokes. I actually wanted to write a little like monologue to kind of fuck with the whole thing and be joyous about it and like kind of respect his freedom to write and stuff. But I was just lazy. But also, I just think it's incredible, man, because it's just I don't understand how you, and I'm not shitting on people that are Muslim. That's to be sure. Like, I think you can do whatever you want, follow whatever religion you want. And my thoughts have nothing to do with how you follow your life. But I can't see, and these are the very orthodox, out of sense people that are following this order to kill him. But I don't see how you can follow a religion, whether it be Judaism, Muslim, Christianity, anything that tells you to go kill another person because you offended their God. I can understand, the mentality for some people and how gracious their God is, but that's crazy. That's just fucking wild. I'm trying not to sound disrespectful because I don't want to get killed. No, I'm kidding. I just don't want to offend nobody either, because I understand the love you could have for God, but that's just ridiculous. And this person is out of his mind, batshit crazy.
I'll just say, as myself, as a person, as an individual,
kill Frankie, not me.
As someone who doesn't believe in any religion, I don't, and as someone who has advocated even on this show for the fact that I don't believe in death, even to the worst person.
Death penalty, not death. Oh, okay. I thought you meant just in death in general. I was like, you dumbass.
I would never wish death upon another person. That's just, I just can't do that. I can't do it.
Really though? Like, you don't think it's all circumstantial?
I really can't do it.
You don't think this what's his name again? What the fuck? He just the Highland Park shooter,
Jaywan Walker? Jayland Walker?
No, he got shot.
You said Highland Park shooter.
Yeah, Highland Park shooter is Nicholas Cruz, who shot up 17
I gotta mix up. God damn.
They're like literally the opposite. It's okay though. You all make mistakes. I'm not gonna say. What was I gonna say? You don't think he deserves death? He killed 17 people, 14 high schoolers, 3 teachers.
I just feel like it's better to rot in prison, which is something that I've said before
better for
on
him.
this show.
Better for him. Like, he gets to live. He gets to be alive every day and just
who
exist.
knows what he would go through in prison.
But that's like saying he doesn't deserve the death penalty. He deserves torture. You're okay with torture? That's against our Constitution. Yeah. That's against our Constitution, though.
I'm kind of okay with torture.
All levels of torture?
Like,
are you okay with all levels of torture? Because then he should get the highest level of torture, right?
I think the highest level of torture is just dealing with the fact of what he did.
Nah, get the fuck out of here. What about insane people who aren't being insane and they get to live?
I think any person deals with that mental guilt.
Nah.
I think I don't matter who, I don't care who it is. Yeah. You deal with that human intuition, that human feeling that you've done something wrong.
Dylan Roof murdered a whole bunch of black people while they were at church. Afterwards, he was taken to Burger King. To this day, he still says what he did was the act of God and for the rights of white people. He's shown no remorse and is happy that he's done it. And because he was getting beat up in prison, he's been moved to a more security prison. That's who you're saying shouldn't have the death penalty. Someone who's okay. And if you watch those videos, which I've seen a very snippet of, there's GoPro footage of him shooting people in the face, pleading for their death. He's actually getting the death penalty, and he deserves it. He's a piece of shit. He has no remorse at all. He says what he did was good. So you think he shouldn't deserve to die?
I really just don't like it, man.
But but whether you like it or not doesn't say whether he deserves it.
You know what I mean? I know that.
Yeah.
I know that's what you're getting at. But personally, as a person,
for sure.
If it were up to me, I would rather just let him rot in prison. And that's just my choice.
And I mean, again, you're not the only person that thinks like that. Like, when I watch the Nicholas Cruz videos, like the live jury sessions and stuff, court sessions, they always have a poll, which I think is great. Follow Law and Crime Network on YouTube. They have a great presentation of court sessions. There's gonna be a dickhead on the chat because they have chats and stuff. But they always ask death penalty, this and that. They had it for Kyle Rittenhouse. Nobody's right or wrong. You could just put in your answer. But you're right. I just think that if you were, my personal opinion, if you're okay with torture and in some cases torture leads to death, then in some ways you kind of do advocate for death penalty, just in a slight mannerism, But again, there's a lot of people on death penalty who are for sure innocent. There's a lot of remember the Maria Espinosa, was that her name? The mother?
Melissa Lucia?
Oops. Yeah. Melissa Lucia, who was blamed for killing her daughter. She was about to that's crazy, man. Imagine she was put to death, bro. That would have been crazy. But in that case, it wasn't investigated thoroughly, I'm not saying the death penalty should be applied to all that. I'm just saying that if there's some asshole who for sure like kill people and he's like, I would do it again every single time and I don't care what anybody says, like then it's like, let's put this guy to death. Like fuck this guy. Because as much as you say this guilt, you know, part of the human brain exists, so does this lack of it. You know, like that for sure can happen to some people. Some can say those people are insane, but I say fuck those people that aren't insane. I don't know. But there's no right or wrong answer. Like for sure, we are not professionals on either end of it too.
I guess I'm just more of the optimistic, ironically, in that sense. Like I say ironically because I feel like I'm pretty pessimistic in a lot of views. But when it comes to death penalty, I'm pretty optimistic. I feel like there's always, and like you mentioned, torture and things like that. Like, I feel like it's better to rot in prison than to die more often, because when you're dead, you can't really pay for your sins. Even to the people that like...
That's interesting.
Even to the people who don't hold remorse, they are going to rot in prison for the rest of their life, doing the same thing every day, in and day out. Every day every in and day out. I
just still think that if you're a parent of a 14-year-old student, and you hear the not guilty verdict, or you hear like the guilty but life in prison without the possibility of parole, like you go to sleep every night knowing that they do too. You know, like you go to sleep every night, like they can still receive mail, they can still educate themselves, they can become a better person.
And that's just human. I think that's what it is.
I mean, so what's nature then? Is killing another not nature? Like animals do it all the time. Well, we do it still all the time. We eat burgers.
Well, I think that comes down to nature versus nurture, because then even when you look at that, you come down to vegetarians and things like that.
Yeah, well, those are pussies. No, I'm kidding. We're not freaking those motherfuckers. I'm kidding. No, I'm 100% kidding. Vegetarian is great. Being great, whatever. Do what the fuck you want. I'm just saying, but I don't know. Like I will, it would be, I don't know. I have no idea. But it would be cool to have like 3 or 4 people around here, like guests and stuff, even though you could buy the mics if you want to come. Because we could get one more. That's about it. Financially. Not kidding. But like just to have a discussion on death penalty without screaming, because motherfuckers who scream when they debate and stuff, you go and get the death penalty.
No, I'm right. No, but I'm right.
Just shoot you.
No, but I'm right.
All right. And just put a button, electrocute your ass. No one's right, bitch. I just shoot myself. I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it just. I had a discussion with one of my friends, who I won't say because I don't want to display his political ideologies onto here. But I think this. But
it's a him.
Oh. There was an interview where I was listening to where they were describing a girl, and they were like, oh yeah, her name's Erica, and they were like, and then he was the lawyer, he was asking like, oh, what's her name? He was like, oh, I'm not gonna say her name on this because I don't want to give it away. And she's like, all right, well, you've already told me her name. You know what I mean? Like, I fucked up. Well, it's a him. Fuck it. There's a lot of guys out here. And he was saying that the best way to deter, school shootings is by, if we do decide to give them death penalty, to publicly execute them, which is crazy, right? But like to broadcast it on national television, which is morbid and definitely not appropriate for viewership. But I do know for sure. I don't know for sure. What am I saying? I do know that it would. I mean, maybe it would deter other people from shooting schools up. Like showing the real raw punishment of what this can bring out, because. I mean, even with this new school shooter, Ethan Crumble, right? Mm-hmm. He was brought into court, and I watched a little bit of the court session. And one of the things that the prosecutors wanted, which they mentioned to the judge, because you have to be extremely thorough, they were like, we as the prosecutors do not want to mention him by name and only refer to him as the defendant in order to prevent celebrityism and popularity amongst future school shooters or aspiring school shooters. And the judge was like, okay, that's okay. So again, like, there's a reason why it's illegal for mass murderers to write books and sell them. Like, that's the thing?
I mean, isn't that just free speech at that point?
Some would want to advocate for that, but because a lot of murderers in the past chose to write about their murders, they made a lot of money off that and they profited. So when you commit a crime like that, you're not able to basically make money off of it. And a lot of these school shooters get love letters and like fans. Like, it's true. So like, if what you're saying is true for them to suffer, I mean, trust that they're gonna get pictures of, you know, women or men like admiring them, sending photos of themselves and like loving them and writing positive things towards them.
Oof.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like if Kyle Rittenhouse went to jail, he would get fan mail, like a shitload of it. He's already a celebrity now. And that's the thing about it. Like we are in such a big world today of opinion where, I mean, it's strange, you know. And even in jail, you probably have phone access. You get 3 meals a day. You know, you get this and that. I mean, fuck Ghislaine Maxwell, but she's being moved to a safer, better prison.
Dude, from what I see on Instagram, jail doesn't seem too bad.
Honestly, you ever see these prisoners just dance to this shit and having a good ass on Instagram Live and shit? there was some picture somebody said, I don't know if it was you, but they were getting mad at a comment. Like there was somebody commenting on IG Live and they were upset. The prisoner was like, what? And then some other person was like, man, you mad at a comment? You mad at the wrong sentence.
Yeah. That wasn't me.
That's funny as fuck.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty funny. It doesn't seem that bad at all, bro. Just about to do the podcast from jail.
Rob a candy bar real quick.
Hey, is Earth My Manor from? Clink. Jail. I don't know, man. But yeah, let's stay out of it. we could like put some bars up here to make it seem like we're in jail.
from the camera, just whooshing.
I already have an idea what I'm gonna do for Halloween here, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I'm glad to hear.
Nice. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, those are my 3 topics, man. And fuck that guy, the attacker who attacked Salman Rushdie. But I didn't forget to mention he was on a ventilator. He's okay. Even his son said that while he was in the hospital, that he was in good spirits, maintained his humor and his, you know, and like not for nothing, I do want to read his stuff now. Like I want to check out his stuff and read a little bit of it. I mean, he's been a writer forever. You get me? So I think that's important. And you know, this, I'm not saying like, oh, write some stuff to make fun of the prophet Muhammad or whatever, or this or Jesus or Buddha, whatever. I don't really care. The book is good. The book is good. The book is bad. I'm not gonna read that shit. But I think it's important that you should be able to write about whatever the fuck you want. But we have limitations in this world too. And there's a lot of bad shit being written
There's
as well.
always gonna be someone that says no. and you know what you want to say to those people that say no?
What do you want to say?
You want to tell them,
Fuck you. I'm making my own shit.
Bitch. Hey, we're back.
We're back, bitch.
How come I don't sound as satanic as you?
I don't know. Have you tortured enough people?
I don't have it, man. I don't believe in torture. I'm Satan number 2.
You should let people rot in jail. It's pretty good.
You think so?
It's pretty good. They cry every night.
But if they die, don't they go to hell? Which is worse.
When they go to hell, that's when you really get to have fun.
Oh, I'm going to tell a story because I saw it on the fucking on Joe Rogan, but little clips and stuff. But it has nothing to do with Joe Rogan. It has to do with the interviewer. But I'm going to just say it here because I would like the story to get to other people. So I won't take credit for it. I'll put the supplementary and the YouTube who's credit.
mm-hmm.
But basically, I don't know if I send it to you, I'll send it to you. There's this guy, you know, he dies, right? And he goes to heaven. And he goes to heaven and he's up there in heaven and he sees God. And he's like, what's up, God? And God's like, what's up, man? Like, how you doing, bro? And they go in and he's in heaven and, you know, he's living his life and this and that, just kind of being, right? And then he's like, after a couple of days, he's like, this is kind of boring. Like, he's like, hey, God, can I check out hell real quick? Like, can I go to hell? And God's like, yeah, go ahead. And so he goes to hell and then he goes and he's like, oh yeah, like just a bunch of strippers, a bunch of gambling. He's like drinking and stuff, smoking, kind of having a great ass time, like being satanic and shit. And he's like, damn, this is fucking awesome. And so he finishes up, you know, has a crazy weekend, whatever days are in afterlife. And he goes back to heaven. And he's like, damn, God, like, can I stay in hell? Like, I kind of liked it over there. And God is like, yeah, you can definitely do that. But if you do that, you can't come back. And the guy's like, And he's like, you know what? All right. Like, I'm going to stay in hell then. And God's like, all right, see you later. See you never. And so the guy goes to hell. He gets to hell. He's in like a pit of fire. He has tar on his face. He's suffering. He's getting like sawed off and this and that. And he's like, ah, he's like saying, what the fuck? Like, where's everything? Where's the fun? Where's the gambling? Where's the ladies? When this and that? And Satan looks at him and he's like, don't confuse tourism with immigration. And I was like, that's a crazy good story. That's a crazy good story.
That sounds like something that would come out of the Sandman.
Oh man, I mean, definitely. I hope. Yeah, man. Actually, I saw somebody's Instagram post, and she watches The Sandman, and her man's like, this is a weird show, but she loves it, and it's on Netflix now, man. So
Yeah,
that's so
I watched
awesome.
the first 2 episodes.
What do you think?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The first episode is the entire first issue. You'll love it.
So I watched just the first episode because I'm still reading it through it, but it's so good. I told Beatrice to read it all the time, and even when I was editing the last episode, number 10, the comic book shop, like I was just reading it and taking some pictures, and man, like what a good fucking read. Like when he goes
It's
into the
a good
diner,
read.
he makes everybody like basically like fuck and just kill themselves and this and that and just chop out their fingers. And there's one that I put up in the video where the guy's holding up his dog's dead head, and he just holding it up and stuff. And man, Neil Gaiman, The Sandman. Read that shit, man. If you haven't read no comic books, there's a lot from what we've read that I can recommend. I guess a selected few. Javi will always, if you need some comic book recommendations, always hit up Javi.
I'm right here, motherfucker. What's up? Bubba dub dub.
lick my balls. But read Mr. Miracle or The Sandman. But read Sandman first, because Sandman's crazy, bro. That shit is Mr. Miracle's intense. But yeah, man. Yeah, Death Bounty, Sandman, Salman Rushdie, Suicide in Courtrooms, China, Taiwan.
What are 3 topics, my guy?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm happy I got to get some juicy ones and not too lengthy ones, but definitely like back to the flow of goodness. You know what I mean? Like I'm very happy I covered these 3 and everything.
Oh,
and
back to the flow of goodness.
yeah.
So last episode they didn't have that flow.
No. It was like a heavy flow. Like I needed 10 packs.
Wide wings or what kind of wings do you need?
Only Jesus wings. On Jesus to caress me.
All our female listeners are like, you're fucking dumb.
What the fuck did you just? I know some shit. I know about.
I've bought tampons before.
I bought Midol.
Okay.
I bought Midol. You know what that is? No. It helps with period pains. Yeah, I know, bitches. Sorry for calling you bitches. Just wanted to sound cool for the mic. I love when I interact with the group of women, right? And then like in my job or anything, and then I'll go and then I'll tell the bitch story. I'm like, these hoes. Like I just like calling it can be men too, but it's just funny with women. It's like these bitches. Like I don't mean it. I don't refer to women as bitches or nothing, but I think it's hilarious when you do.
I've never done that. But
Try it. Next time you walk around somebody and like these 3 women are like, hey, do you know the directions to like Jefferson Avenue? You're like, oh yeah, you go down the left. Walk away with them and be like, these bitches. It's so silly. Yeah, man.
I'll make sure to grab my crotch for a second every time I do it. Just
Sag
like,
your pants.
these fucking bitches.
Just backhand them real quick. Like in the 50s, the good old days. Back when America was
The best
great.
days.
The best days.
The best days.
We are for equal rights. we are for equal rights, and we advocate no violence against women, and we equal pay, representation.
You know, I'll just say the band that I just saw on last Tuesday, Rise
Smack
Against.
woman.
Not even, my guy.
What's up?
Last Tuesday, Rise Against, talking about revolution.
Oh yeah.
They said there's no racism in revolution.
Oh okay.
There's no sexism in revolution.
Interesting.
There's no homophobia in revolution.
Interesting.
And other things.
Mm.
But I think that's a good message to spread.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go somewhere completely different. I was like, but there is xenophobia or something. I don't know.
But he did
Nice.
say, if any of those things are in your revolution,
Yeah.
then you're probably in the wrong revolution.
right? Eric Andre just went to go see a show, and you probably know the band. I don't think I do. I think I've heard of them. They went to go see Rage. He went to go see Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
And one of the big, like in the big screen behind them, it says white supremacy is the real terrorism.
Oof.
So that's pretty dope. And it's like this dope because like when I went to go see Slipknot, which I've never seen before, I barely even heard their music. Like it's just a bunch of positivity being spewed. And like, you know, for a lot of music, it's like, whoa, 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 you know, like at the end of the day, like that's not the message at all. Like I remember he was saying like, I love you all. You guys are all my family. Like nothing but love for everybody, and we are here for you if you ever feel like it was just. I was like, damn, this is so positive for like a fucking thing like a burp.
What do you mean? What's so wrong with that?
I don't know, saying I think you're kind of a pussy.
You think I'm a pussy?
Yeah, you may not sound like one. You sound like a fucking cigarette.
All American history X your ass right here.
Sticks and stones, bitch. Just throw hands, bitch.
I'll curb stomp your ass right here, motherfucker.
Hey, you're the only one that fell from heaven, bitch.
I fell from heaven, but look what I've raised.
Big pussy wings. Fuck you, say it.
Have you noticed that me and Javi are never in the same place at the same time?
Oh shit.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He's not even here no more.
No, he's right here.
What do you mean? I'm right here. Are you trying to cut me off?
No, I'm not trying to cut off nothing.
Are you trying to cut off Satan?
I don't know, man.
Frankie, are you trying to cut off Satan right now?
Nah, man.
Yo, man, you better watch out.
I just see two pussies.
Whoa. You see pussy? Where at?
I don't know, man. Right in front of me.
Oh, man. I better get in that shit.
You're big. You're kind of pink.
Ooh, I like that. Where at?
You look like
Send me the link.
earthmindmatter.com coming soon.
It's super lit.
Yeah, in your sane voice, say we're talking about what in the earth, what in our minds, and what.
We're talking about what's in the earth, in our minds, and why it matters. Bitch.
Nice. Yo, your voice is super great. We gotta find some shit to do with that in the future because it's so fucking dope. Like I'm blown away. I'm here like I can't do a voice like that. I can maybe do a little voice like this, but that's not impressive.
Oh, you can do it now, but a chipmunk's voice kind of like this.
Our chipmunks is way higher, bro. Way higher.
About the chipmunks. What do you think about this?
You just sound like you're suffocating. Like, you know what I mean? Fucking. But now we are at the A.M.C. section.
A.M.C. section.
So we're at the A.M.C. section now.
As we do.
We are. And this week we're on the movie section.
Movie section.
Next week we'll be doing comics.
I feel like it's been a while since we've seen a movie, but it's only been 2 episodes, really.
But it does take a while, man. Like it really does because when we do a comic, we gotta wait another like 2 weeks and stuff. Like when I was planning out a bunch of stuff, I was like, no, it takes a long time for it to get to it. But because it's every week, it kind of is this good back and forth, you know? We came up with a good, pretty idea, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't think so, fuck yourself. No,
we should put one of those fire emoji, like average things on our supplementary.
Okay.
And just see how fire people think our AMC section is.
It's just at its lowest. Like the fire gets extinguished. This shit sucks. No, but one thing I do look forward to, which we'll put up in the supplementary next week, or this week actually, or whenever, I would like to see suggestions of people's like movies and stuff because everybody, of course, you know, just maybe every week we'll put that like recommend some albums, movies, comics, and or I don't know. This is just a random idea, just fucking brainstorming. We can do an episode around other people's topics and stuff, other people's out, like that could be a cool idea.
I mean, people have come to us with other ideas before.
Yeah.
So definitely to expand on those ideas would be pretty great.
We could do like a episode each. Completely family on what's called influence and stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool. But this week we are talking about a certain movie, and we are talking about Spike Lee's The Five Bloods.
The Five Bloods.
And man, I saw this movie a while back. It came out in June 2020, June 12th to be exact. And I saw it before a while back, just because I was like Spike Lee. Like I definitely haven't seen a bunch of his old movies except the Black Klansman. But of course, he's a trademark person, always at Knicks games, very famous director and stuff. And when I watched it the first time, shit blew my mind and this and that. So when I watched it again, I watched it at work and I was like, damn, man, this is such a good fucking movie. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. And but yeah, so like before we get into it, just the very basic details. On IMDb, I got a 6.5 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, I got a 92%. And on Metacritic, I got 82%. Okay. So like, in the higher ends, IMDb was like, nah, I don't fuck with this. The budget was $35 million to $45 million. It was one of Spike Lee's most expensive films.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. And before I dive deep into the details and stuff, we'll go through the movie first before I go in details because I got a little background on Spike Lee, and especially the camera work using it because the camera work was very extensive. I think so with the movies and everything. Chadwick Boseman was in it, which is kind of sad because it kind of represents him being dead.
Yeah.
And it just kind of broke my heart in some sense too, watching him act and stuff like that. And yeah, man. But so what do you think about the movie, man?
I mean, I won't lie. At first, I wasn't sold by it. I was like, this is kind of slow.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be invested in.
Yeah.
But like, and something that you said that I should have watched it in one sitting.
Definitely that.
I don't know if my reaction or my feelings for it would be any different, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But I literally stopped the movie at almost exactly the halfway point.
Yeah, which is the complete turnaround point.
And that's when the movie completely turns into something else.
Because at first, in the first half, I mean, to tell us the quick gist is about Melvin and Paul.
It's
five. Wow,
or
what am I
four of
saying?
them, technically.
Yeah.
Four of them.
Four former Vietnam vets who in total were 5, except one of them, who was Chadwick Boseman, Stormin' Norman, was killed in war. KOA, killed in action, KIA. And it tells the story of basically now senior citizen men, or close to senior citizenship, basically going back to Vietnam to rediscover the gold that they had found in Vietnam, but also to find the body of their fallen fellow soldier, Stormin' Norman, aka Chadwick Boseman. And you're right. At first, the movie does start off kind of these like group of old men kind of like just hanging out, like, you know, good times. Like they're about to go back into Vietnam. It kind of just seems like the story was based around their reconnection and this and that, their PTSD, you know, this and that. But then it turns into some fucking shit show of just gore and killing.
I mean, I will say, have you watched movies like Full Metal Jacket or Apocalypse Now?
Oh, no. I've never seen those movies.
Oh, my God, dude.
And I think
those movies are clear inspiration for this movie entirely.
Oh, nice. And Spike Lee is a huge fan of older movies and stuff like that, which I can say also.
The club scene where the 4 of them are in the club.
Yeah.
Behind them is literally a poster that says Apocalypse Now.
And actually, one of the shots when the helicopter was taking off into the thing is a reference to Apocalypse Now. So in a bunch of his movies, Spike Lee always has reoccurring themes, and one of them is always homages. At the ending scene when Otis is on the ground saying evil or this and that, he's like saying all that. That's a reference to another movie. So he loves to refer to other movies, and he even referred to his own movies I forgot to mention one of them in the future, but Spike Lee loves doing that, and he has a bunch of references there. And so for me, when I was watching this movie, again, you for sure in the beginning, it kind of gives off that vibe. Like, to be fair, like it's like Spike Lee, an old guy making an old guy movie, like old tricks, old script writing, old this and that. Like, and you kind of
even the music is kind of old school.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God, I actually wanted to show you a song. Let's pause it real quick.
Okay. What a fucking ditty.
And what we just listened to is Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. And to go into the soundtrack real quick, the songs a lot of heavy Marvin Gaye within there. And when have you heard that song before?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I feel like I've always heard that
It's
song.
always everywhere. And one thing I'll say, when I used to work at Starbucks, they used to always play it on Starbucks, you know? So I would hear that song and I would be like, oh, this is a great song. And what this movie did when they isolated the vocals later on, which I'll get to more later, I didn't realize that this is a very political song. Like, it mentions police brutality, like even mentioning like they judge us because our hair is long. And even I can speak for myself now, like when I was working at Starbucks, man, like my hair is like longer now. It used to be shorter, it was longer, and they would always be like, get a haircut, do this, like cut your hair, this and that, whatever. Like constantly. And I always be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you know, what the fuck are you telling me right now? Like, you know, I wasn't getting so buttered about it, but I was more like, why are you telling me to cut my hair? You know, it's,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, this song definitely, in the context of this movie, definitely brought the political lens to it, where I never considered that of like, this is actually a very political song.
He's like picking signs, you know, like don't punish me with brutality, you know, and this and then. And so when I watched this movie, whenever I would go back to work and I would hear that song, I'm like, oh my God, man, this is such a amazing song. And Marvin Gaye is an incredibly talented person in general, and definitely going to cover his music in the future because I would love to, you know,
without a doubt.
But so the soundtrack for this movie is Inner City Blues, in parentheses, Make Me Wanna Holler, Marvin Gaye, Gotta Give It Up, Marvin Gaye, Bring the Boys Home, Free to Paint, I'm Coming Home by the Spinners, Ride of the Valkyries, which is various artists, Time Has Come Today, the Chambers Brothers, If There's a Hell Below, If It's a Hell Below, We're All Going to Go, Curtis Mayfield, What's Happening, Brother, Marvin Gaye, Holy, Holy, Marvin Gaye, God Is Love, Delroy Lindo, Flying High, Marvin Gaye, and What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. So Marvin Gaye was definitely, I mean, he was a huge speaker out in terms of, politics in general, and especially the Vietnam War and all wars, right? And I feel like what this movie gets to, which, again, I'll get to more in the future in the episode, is that it really picks up on a lot of post factors in terms of black men who served in wars, and one of the most dominant lines in the film, which I think is when Paul, who wears the Make America Great Again hat, he's forcing himself to, they're forcing the Vietnam people of that area are forcing him to bury himself. Mm-hmm. He's talking to them just kind of because he's so crazy, loose using of the word crazy. And he looks at them and he says, we fought in a moral fight for a war that wasn't ours, for rights that we didn't have. And I think the most important part of this movie is also saying, like, with the radio host who comes in and out between the Asian radio host, Vietnamese, I'm assuming, and she says, black GI, you are a part of a war, or this and that. Black GI, almost poetic. And she says, 11% of black people make up the United States, but in the Vietnam War, 32% of black people make up the U.S. troops. Back in the point where, like, black people weren't being treated equally and stuff. And when I looked into Spike Lee's history, it's really remarkable how big of an influence it was for him to represent the black experience. And
I mean, I'll just say even to that, like something that I caught on pretty quickly is because Spike Lee has always had a style in his films.
He doesn't make films. He makes joints.
Which I always love.
Yeah, Spike Lee joint.
But something that I felt like, because considering how recent this film is, 2020. Yeah. Something that I found a lot of comparison to was Black Klansman.
Yeah, great movie. Great fucking movie.
And how he incorporated a lot of real life interviews and events into the film,
which I love. The movie opens up like that. It opens up with Martin Luther King, if I'm not mistaken. The Five Bloods, I mean.
And and with Black Klansman, it ends with the riot in Virginia. Yeah. And I feel like that's very reminiscent of what he does in this movie, where he very much incorporates modern history into his film.
And it's to show you the real thing compared to the, fictionality of things. And he himself is a documentarian. Like, Spike Lee is very, very, very educated in all these things. And, I only see him on Knicks games and this and that, but we all know who Spike Lee is, like, do the right thing and all that stuff, get on the bus and stuff and everything. But I got to dive deep into him. And so I will say, like, to watch the movie into two separate parts is like, we don't watch movies in general like that. Like, imagine going to a movie and then have an intermission for a day and then watch it again.
They did that for The Hateful Eight.
Oh, because it's so fucking long. I mean, but even then, I would stay for the whole thing. Like, I don't go to the bathroom during the movies. I'd rather suffer than miss out a part of the movie. Like, I hate it, Intermissions seem great, but I just feel that that's what a movie is, like, just full through.
I will say, pausing it halfway through, I feel like it didn't necessarily ruin my experience of the film. I just kind of feel like it just really divided the two halves of this movie for sure. And
this movie is a 2-half movie. And so with the movie beginning, it really is just the story right now of 4 guys like meeting up and stuff after a long while, each living different lives and stuff. Again, Eddie, Melvin, Paul, Otis, and Storm and Norman. And they're in Vietnam.
Norman isn't there.
Oh yeah, Storm and Norman was part of the 4 that are there now. And they basically start talking to people around Vietnam. They get a tour guide who's super fucking cool. I forget his name in the movie and stuff.
Vin, I believe his name was.
And
with an H.
And they start talking to some Vietnamese people. And one of the lines that got to me said that the American war turned Vietnamese family against Vietnamese family. And that there's that one scene of showing their PTSD when the kid is asking for money with one leg. And he's like, get away from me, man, get away from me. And then Otis finally gives him $20. And after they leave the little bar, the kid with one leg throws fireworks at them and it goes off.
Firecrackers or something like that.
And they all fall to the ground, cover their heads. And it shows their PTSD. And I'm going by my notes as I saw it, so it'll just follow it chronologically. Just to cover the movie first, too, because I kind of always get into like the directing and stuff, and I kind of want to get into movie stuff. So that's when the flashback goes back to Chadwick Boseman. That's when the camera work is very, very amazing to me. Because I do have some facts here about the camera work that me and you won't understand at all. Not to even shit on us. I'm just saying it's so fucking in depth. But I hope somebody who does love film I got it from a very reliable website, and it just explains all the camera work. And the first thing I wrote down when I saw the flashbacks was that it was grainy. It gave off this vibe of old time style.
There's a visual language
Yeah.
between the present and the past.
Yes, definitely.
Where as soon as we goes into the past, it shuts down to that 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And just looks like an old like 70s like esque film.
And it really looks like it. And it's so amazing.
Even like I don't know exactly, but did they de-age them for that? Or did they get different actors?
So what it was is that they stayed the same age. And when I first watched the movie, Chadwick Boseman is Stormy Norman is the only one that stays young. And I was like, when I first watched the movie, because I'm gonna go to the flashbacks for those listening, they look the same. They don't look like they're made to look younger. And when I first watched it, I was like, wait, this is kind of weird. Like, why do they look like this right now? And I think the idea is that we see them as that because that's who they are now, and their actions don't change that. Like their actions will forever be part of the war, and then that made me think after I watched this movie that like a lot of vets they get shit on. Like even where I work, the Starbucks, we had a lot of vets come in, and a lot of those people were deemed crazy, mentally unhealthy, this and that. And I was like, I mean, they're also just vets who are like literally in a shelter, like literally 2 blocks away from us, type shit, you know. And some of them are blind, a lot of them use canes, a lot of them rely on like government help to like live, you know. And like it's sad because imagine fighting in this Vietnam War that we eventually lost because of a whole bunch of shitty reasons. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's what I saw. So like, what I wrote, heartbreaking to see Chadwick Boseman. Also hard to depict these old men as young soldiers, but all old vets once were young and fighters. That self-imagery never goes away.
You know, I guess I will say that I think they probably just used the same actors and did different makeup.
Yeah, but they didn't look any younger, to be honest with you.
Well, I feel like even with like the white hair and stuff like that, like there was less white hair because that was something I tried to really note at a certain point during the film where I was like, what is the difference between the present and the past? Yeah. And I noticed that for Paul, that's the guy with the Make America Great hat again. His beard isn't full when it's in the past. Okay. That's one little note that I noticed. Gotcha. So it's like, it's just that attention to detail where clearly they tried to like make it seem like, I think like it seems like they tried to de-age them pretty much.
Got you. But it wasn't like an immense, like, because only reason I say this because like Chadwick Boseman was so young compared to all of them. Like,
no,
you know,
obviously. I mean, I think with Chadwick Boseman, it's just because of the fact that that's like
he never lived past
the day. Yeah,
he
like
never
that's
lived
like
past
the age he died and whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think. And yeah, I mean, it could be that too. I mean, I didn't notice the hairs to be honest with you, but I also think the clothing they had is distracting. Like the army clothing to have a gun in their hands, like the uniforms and stuff. Either way, I thought it was a clever way to represent them.
Yeah, know? I mean, I'm just pointing out, like, I guess, like, the attention to detail, because it seems like they had that in mind. And I, like, again, I don't know if they de-aged any of the actors, but, like, I guess it seems like they had some idea of, like, they need to look a little different in the past than they do in the present.
Definitely.
And that's just a nice attention to detail.
For sure. And so, like, for me, when I saw the graining in the film, I wrote that before I looked at the thing, and I was like, oh, they do have graining and stuff. And one thing I wanted to mention that I learned in Breaking Bad, I mean, and then it could be wrong, could be right, but the weapons in Vietnam were not fit for the climate of Vietnam. So a lot of the weapons that, like, I was kind of confused because when I saw the weapons in the Five Bloods, they seemed more like metal, they seemed more modern and stuff like that. But a lot of them are also made of wood. And what would happen to the wood in Vietnam, because it's so humid and rains so much, that the wood would warp. And like
AK-47s,
things like that. I just don't know if Americans had AK-47s. I just don't know, period. I just know the wood factor. But AK-47s are expensive, apparently. That's what I found out.
I just know that AK-47s are like
woodish.
Primarily wood.
And and Mike would say, like, I wish they knew, but they wish they knew that these weapons would be damaged in war before they brought a whole bunch of them to Vietnam. And when I saw them fighting and stuff like that, it just made me think about that because I mean, it's like guerrilla warfare. That was what happened around there. So Vietnam, really, why Vietnam was so successful is because they knew the area, we didn't, you know. And it's just sad. They have a lot of Spike Lee included a lot of throwback footage of real documentary, stuff like Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali, Aretha Franklin.
I will just say that, like, there's a lacking sense of the Rolling Stones in this movie.
What do you mean?
I say that jokingly
Oh,
just
okay.
because
I just don't know what the Rolling Stones did during that time.
well, just because like if you were to Google it yourself, if you Google like any of the popular Rolling Stones songs, most of those songs are music videos or fan-made music videos of the Vietnam War.
That's awesome. I didn't know. We put that in Elementary for sure.
And so it's just like the Rolling Stones, their music had a lot to do with the Vietnam War.
Awesome.
Not directly or politically or anything, but it's just like it's literally just the music that was out at that time.
Yeah, no,
and
for sure.
soldiers were listening to that music and shit like that. And it's just the time period.
That's cool as fuck. I definitely didn't know that. I think it just might have been because, again, he's just trying to capture like how black people felt during the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And like black people that were made to go there. And like just because the Rolling Stones, they're white, I'm assuming, right? All of them. And that's the only reason I think so. But I definitely didn't know that. And I definitely want to check that shit out because that sounds interesting as fuck. That's cool. There's a lot of mentioning of black men in history that were part of, like, you know.
This movie is very historical.
Yeah, man.
Like early on, I was like, man, people don't talk like this.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And that's what it is. Like nobody. I mean, the way that's what I thought with the scene when they were pulling his son off the landmine, and they were like, "Where'd you go to school?" And he was like, "This and this and that." It's like, you know who went to school there? And I'll mention him later. But he was like, he took 15 hurdles between every hurdle. Everybody else took 18. And they were like, "Who was that?" And they mentioned his name. And right now, like one person they mentioned while they were sitting at a table was Milton Olive, who jumped on a live grenade and saved many lives in 1965. And that's when they were referring to Rambo. He was saying, man, they got all these white people talked about in movies and stuff, but they don't have any black people that are mentioned today. That Milton Olive guy was the first one to be awarded the Medal of Honor in Vietnam at 18 years old because he saved the lives of his fellow soldiers by jumping on a grenade, which they did mention in the movie. And I feel like, of course, nobody talks like that. And then I was like, but that's why this movie's like, I love it because like there's a lot of dialogue that's so important to people that are so ignorant to it. That's why, like, I forgot what we were saying earlier in the podcast today, even that like they don't teach us in school, you know, and there's a reason they don't, you know, like there's a lot of idolization of a white person doing some crazy thing, Christopher Columbus. You know, when there's like a lot of black people who've done immense things, a lot of people who are probably Mexican, Puerto Rican, Colombian, all these people, but we focus on white people so much, even they're on our money, you know. And I mean, I really fucking enjoy it.
Yeah, like at first I was like, yeah, definitely people don't talk like this, but at a certain point I just kind of accepted of like this movie. Like it just speaks to Spike Lee's style. Definitely. He wants to really educate you while he's showing you a good film at the same time.
Then they speak on Otis and Tien, which is somebody that who was Vietnamese during the time, and how, you know, they would treat Vietnamese women over there. They would call them dirty and disgusting. And like one of the in a line, she says that Vietnamese women were referred to too dirty to even clean the toilet. That's crazy. And they taught her how to use the N-word towards black people and stuff like that. And she's like, we learned that from Americans, you know? They're fucking fellow soldiers. They also mentioned Crispus Attucks, who is a black man who became the first casualty of the American Revolution when he was shot and killed in what became known as the Boston Massacre. So I feel like, I mean, again, like, this was during 1619, during slavery. And I would not be talking about any of these names if it wasn't for this movie. And I think that's like, especially in the modern time, like 2020, I think that's more crucial than ever. Yeah. You know, like most people want to preach this woke stuff, this Black Lives Matter stuff, and they know nothing about history. I'm not saying I know everything just because I watched this movie, but to learn these things is to cherish, you know, not only black soldiers, but all soldiers in general, because he even attributes Vietnamese soldiers in general, like what people in war had to go through and stuff like that. And how even now where there's landmines in various places of the world because of war, that people get killed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even my ethnocentric ass, like even when they said in Vietnam, like the American War, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Yeah, that's how they refer to it over there. They don't refer it to as a Vietnam War.
And it's how white people want to change the word of slavery now to make themselves feel better. You know, like it's just, no, it is what it was. And they want to change it to like some other stupid shit, which I'll put in celebrity. I got to find that. But it's some stupid ass politician that wants to change it. And then there's one flashback where the Five Bloods are all, this is the flashback, so they're all there. And they're sneaking up on some Vietnamese soldier. And the Vietnamese soldier is reading this note. And he's saying, yeah, when I was going off into war, my wife put a note into my scarf. Mm-hmm. And one of the other soldiers was like, so cute. like not speaking this manly, like, oh, war language. He was like, no, it's adorable. And the poem read, like a phoenix flower that remains in the shadows of the tree, so too will beautiful ladies that wait for the hero. And then they shoot them and stuff like that. They kill those people who just read the poem. And then Chadwick Boseman is speaking to his fellow soldiers, and he says, war is about money. Money is about war. And then that's when the radio host comes on, and she's like, Black GI, Negroes are only 11% of the U.S. population. But in Vietnam, Black people make up 30% of the troops. And that's when I got the idea. And I always have this, like, I don't know why it doesn't exist. I'm not trying to advocate for it or whatever. But I always don't understand, like, if there's a KKK for Black people, like, like to, hurt them and put them out, why isn't there a KKK for white people? Like, why has that never been?
What do you mean? Like,
why? Like, I'm not going to equate the Black Panthers and put them down like that and this and that, but, like, because I don't think they did that exactly that. But I'm saying, like, okay, think about it. Like, imagine KKK, but for white people. Like, Black people putting on those hoods and like killing white people. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not saying that happens. But I'm saying, like, I think in the future, that's what's going to come if these motherfuckers keep acting up and everything. And I'm not hoping for it. I'm not saying none of that shit. I'm just saying, like, I'm very intrigued as to maybe if that happened in the past, or if like Black people just don't do that just because it's like, why would we stoop as low as them? Because then there's talk of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Like, one uses his words, one uses his, like, actions and stuff like that, and it's interesting.
I think about in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mm-hmm. Awesome fucking game.
When you run into the KKK and one instance where they're trying to put up a cross and they try and light it on fire, but the cross falls over and it catches them on fire and they all start to burn and die.
I think of a Django when he's like, when they're riding off and they're like, who cut these masks? And they was like, my wife. And he was like, well, I thought it was generous, but I can't see through these. I can't breathe through these. He's like, oh, God damn it. That's the last time me and my wife do anything nice for y'all. Just fucking Jonah Hill was part of the KKK. Fucking ridiculous. But when they're on the boat sailing through Vietnam's like river, like shops and stuff like that, one of the saddest things, it might not have been this part, but I remember Paul, who I think was the best actor in the whole movie. I have their actual names later on. But Paul, he wears a Make America Great Again hat. He's very PTSD out the mind. And he says, he's like, I see ghosts, man. Like, and then everybody just, they're like, you think you're the only one that see ghosts? He's like, no, I see Storm and Norman every single night in my dreams, and that shit really made me sad, man, because it's like, I mean, of course, it's a sad film in general. There's a lot of sad parts, and I don't want to cry every fucking minute of that movie, bro. Like, that movie breaks my fucking heart. But I just thought of that because, like, we don't know what that's like, and thankfully, we'll never know what that PTSD truly is. I mean, of course, there's modern, post-traumatic stress disorder for sure, but like for that war to go on and to be forcibly placed there because of, again, a war that they didn't have to fight, but they were forced to fight, for the rights they didn't have. I just think that shit is just a punishment within a punishment, and fucking tragic, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just like a tragedy. Yeah. It's just there was no one winning in this situation. Yeah. Black people didn't win and America didn't win because the war still went on, not in our favor for at least a while. Yeah. And so it's just, it was just a messy situation.
Yep. And they mentioned also how George Washington had 123 slaves.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And how can I say? So then, basically, like the whole point of it is for them to go back to Vietnam, like I mentioned earlier, and to collect their gold and find Storm and Norman's body. So when I saw that, when dropped off, is calm before the storm, And one key thing that I liked that they were walking around with the son because one of their Paul's son came through.
Played by Jonathan Majors, who's a great actor.
Okay, nice. He said, he was like, there was a leopards that we have to worry about. And Paul says, leopards are all gone now. Poachers wiped them out. And I was like, damn, bro, that just it just speaks to more modern problematic things that we as humans, affect the nature around us as.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but I just got to nerd out for a second. Up? So Jonathan Majors, he's basically gonna be the new Thanos of the MCU.
What the fuck? I didn't think he was that good in this movie, to be honest with you. I thought he was he was meant to be kind of ridiculous too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be like the young kid, whatever. But he's basically gonna be the new Thanos of the MCU. He's playing Kang.
Nice. Oh,
and
I don't know who that is.
Kang.
Okay.
He's like this fucking dude who manipulates time and shit like that, and He's fucking wild.
Nice.
He showed up in Loki, the show Loki, and honestly, that last episode when he shows up in, I was like, yo, this guy, he's gonna be fucking good.
That's fucking gold.
Jonathan Majors, he slaps.
There's a scene where they look, so they're all talking to Jonathan Majors, whose name is what in the movie? Do you remember?
David.
And there's this like kind of weird scene where like the camera's on him, he's wearing his college hat, and the camera's kind of looking down on him, right? And so what Spike Lee does,
and he's like drinking like orange juice or something,
kind of
like
looking
that.
like a dunce, you know?
Yeah, like a kid.
Yeah. And what Spike Lee does with those little camera aspects is that when he has the camera from below upwards, it's to show control. And when he has the camera downwards, it's to show lack of it. And it's pretty interesting how like there's a lot of very fine details. How can I say? That's when so later on, like they're in Vietnam and now shit pops off because finally they find the gold and they're like, oh, this and that. Like they find Stormy Norman's body and everything, and they're trying to get back. But they run into the Vietnam vets, the Vietnamese people of that area who know of the gold and everything. And they're like, hey,
who
bitches.
have basically been told by the guy that was gonna help them wire all this money out of the country.
Yeah. No, it wasn't him. It was because the guy ran off. There was the lamb, right?
So he told Roche or whatever his name was.
So what happened was when they were around the area of the Vietnamese jungle and stuff like that, they were like doing all good and stuff. Then they got into an argument because what's his name? Let me look at it real quick. Eddie, who was like when he was there, he was like, oh, put it on my car and everything. But then he confessed to them. He's like, I'm broke. Like I got no money. All my car dealerships are done. My wives, they divorced me. Like I spent too much money drinking and this and that. And he said what Stormy Norman wanted to do with the gold was to give it back to black people for the cause. That gold was supposed to go to black empowerment and to provide for people that they didn't have it because America doesn't allow them to. Yeah. And so later on, when they find the money and stuff like that, like he's still preaching. He's like, Eddie says Stormy Norman would have wanted us to give this money back to our people, but all of them are like, what about my people? Like Melvin says, what about my people? And they're all kind of being selfish about it and stuff. And so Eddie finally is like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, you guys want to be like that? And he's like walking backwards. He's like, you guys want to be selfish like that? And then he blows up because he steps on a landmine.
As soon as that was happening, as soon as he was starting to step backwards,
you knew it.
I was like, yo, man, he's going to get shot. Yeah. That's the first thing that came to mind. He's going to get shot.
And before that, like, I was going to say earlier, the way they found the gold was bullshit. Like, the way he found the gold when he went to go take a shit and he just kind of put a shovel in there. I was like, that's bullshit.
That was just pure
luck. I was like, so I remember when I watched the movie the first time, every time somebody went out the way, because I remember the landmine shit, right? I was like, somebody's gonna blow up ASAP. And when the son Jonathan Majors, when he went out to go take a shit, I was like, he's gonna blow up ASAP. All you're gonna hear is a poof. But then he stuck his shovel in the ground and he found the gold. I was like, bullshit, whatever. That's just dumb. And even when Eddie was walking backwards, I was like, okay, now he for sure is gonna get blown up, and he did. And that I thought was kind of like cheesy, like the way he died and he was in the ground, but it was crazy, the visual, like his half torso up, and it was like, I was like, what the fuck?
Like, because again, I thought he was gonna get shot, so when he blew up, my jaw literally dropped. I was like, I was like, holy shit!
And when he was dying and stuff,
how gruesome it was, how visceral it was. Like it wasn't some. His arms was missing, his entire lower
from the
half
chest
was
down.
missing.
Yeah, man.
Like I was like, holy shit! I did not expect that.
Yeah, man. And like how he like his final word was bloods, you know, and man. And so for me, I was like, holy shit, like what the fuck is happening? I thought this movie was gonna be like, oh, we go home and have a conversation, you know. But then I was like, oh, what the fuck? So the three people, which was like the white lady who looked like Heidi Klum, I think so, the actress she resembled.
Her name is Heidi.
Her name is Heidi, right? And she mentioned some other actress. Her and two other people have this land. Basically what they do is
they have a metal detector.
Well, they find landmines throughout it with the metal detector, and they find landmines that were left because of the Vietnam War, so other civilians don't step on it and die, aka Eddie. And remember they tied them up because now they knew about their plan about the gold. So they tied them up, but one of them got away.
You know, the fat guy, he's an actor that I remember from a couple of things. I don't remember one of them, but the other thing that I do remember him from is I, Tonya, and he is such a fuck in that
I've
movie.
only heard about I-20. I never watched it.
It's a good movie.
Nice.
But he plays such a fuck in that movie when every time he's on the screen, you just want to roll your eyes. You're like, oh my God, get this fucking asshole off the screen. He's so dumb.
Well, so basically when they tie them up because they know that they're gonna like intrude on their plan with the gold and stuff like that. But the one guy who tries to get away reaches for Paul's gun. He gets away. And so when the Vietnamese the guys that are around, they kidnapped him and they were like, we'll give you back your friend if you give us back our gold. And I remember when they were asking that, they're like, he's not my friend.
Yeah.
And they were trying to like go back and forth and they were like, this is Vietnamese money right here. And then the guy, Paul says, if you look at the gold right there, it says USA. So there was like, again, the movie obviously has a big capitalism factor to it too. Like it has a huge thing about money and they're all risking their lives for money. Like at the end of the day, this is why everything happens. And one thing that's important is that the Vietnamese guy, he says, you Americans are the reasons that a lot of people died in here too. He mentions My Lai, which is the My Lai massacre was an incident that occurred when American soldiers killed more than 500 unarmed South Vietnamese citizens in the village of My Lai. It occurred where Charlie Company was ordered to enter the village for a search and destroy mission. And while he's explaining that, he's like, you killed innocent children. And then Spike Lee puts up pictures of actual dead children.
Brutal. Yeah.
Actual dead children. At the last shot was a kid with his face shot off.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and it holds there for a hot second.
And then as he's explaining it, and I think the reason those things are so important is because we like to hide ourselves from history too. We like to really hide in the shade. And as much as we say we might not like that, like I remember when I asked you what Emmett Till was, and you never even heard about that. And I feel like all schools should be teaching about Emmett Till because that shit is so goddamn important. You know, like people should see that. And what I found out from the trailer of the movie that's coming out soon is that the reason that they showed his face because the mom said, I want everybody to see what these monsters did to my child, my little kid, you know? And I feel like when we saw that kid, you know, who was shot in the face and everything while he was explaining the massacre, like we're not the only ones that are full of suffering. And we went over there also to induce it. And I never knew about the My Lai massacre. And it's not just about black people. It's also about like what we did to Vietnamese people. I thought that was super crucial. Then we go on later on and then we get to the temple scene where Vin, right? That's the tour guide.
Vin.
Where he's saying like, if you want to fight these guys, like I'm going to take you to an area.
Yo, shout out to Vin.
Facts. That's a true motherfucker right
He's
there.
like the real fucking
man,
like
the best
escort.
help.
Like holy shit.
He's like, if you guys don't come back here, don't worry. I'll wait for
The second
you.
the shootout happens, he pulls out his fucking Glock. He's like, I'm ready.
Yeah, man. And he tells them, he's like, if you guys aren't here by the time I tell you to come back, I'm going to wait for you. So he's constantly just reassuring them. And yeah, man, he's fucking awesome. I didn't mention earlier, but with the lady that they met up, Tien, who set up the whole gold exchange because it was going to be the way they transferred the gold to U.S. currency. They had a daughter together, Otis and Tien. And that's when Vietnamese, again, were considered too dirty to clean the toilet. And so with that whole exchange, like that was his daughter right there. And Otis wasn't ready to accept that. And we see later in the movie, he's ready to accept that and claim his daughter, you know? But I think it's crazy, man, because it's just like, it's just wild. That whole situation of how he treated this woman. And so when we get to the temple and stuff where they're ready, preparing themselves to fight everybody, by then Paul has abandoned his child, David. Paul gets crazy about everything. He's like, nah, man, fuck this. And he walks off.
Yo, man, that was so difficult to watch. Like
when he's talking to the camera
throughout
like
the entire thing of just like how insane he gets. I thought to myself, like, this is his Joker origin.
Yeah,
like,
man.
This is like how the Joker fucking begins.
He's Paul walks off, and the way I saw it when he left, he calls because his brother David took away the gun from him and untied the people that were trying to help the bomb searchers, and he says, "You're not my child no more." You know, like I don't know who that is no more, to David, his kid, and he walks away. And the way I saw that is, and I don't know if this is what Spike Lee was trying to do, this is my assumption, it's just how like in a lot of families and like falsely economic homes, especially black families, there's always like a father missing or a mother missing. And that can have a lot of consequences for the child, you know, and I saw that as abandonment and how like all the other, like Melvin and not Eddie no more, Otis and everybody else, they were there to help David. And I thought that was a really important message. And I don't know if Spike Lee was trying to send it, but like how other black men can also support younger black men in the community if one is to like, you know, leave their son and stuff like that, which is a difficult situation, obviously, because it arises from, you know, money and stuff like that and difficulties and all that stuff and youth pregnancy. But that's how I look at the situation.
Well, I mean, Like, I think you could see that in terms of his godfather, Otis, who he refers to as his godfather throughout the film.
Yeah.
There's definitely a respect that David offers to his older peers. He is just, you know, you got to respect your elders and shit like that. And he does that.
Yeah.
And so I think that definitely speaks to that of just teaching the younger generation that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't, I think that expands beyond race.
Yeah.
I think teaching the younger generation that it's okay to feel this way, one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Is good.
Oh no, but I just mean as like a factual thing that happens in communities.
No,
you know,
I mean. Like historically, that's definitely
even modernly, like, you know, modernly now, like in communities where like the poverty is huge and high, and there's a lot of families that aren't like, they don't necessarily have to be nuclear, but are involving both of the parents.
Yeah,
that's when like those communities high rise and, you know, crime rate and stuff like that. And that's what I'm trying to refer to also.
Yeah, no,
because it wasn't just Otis, it was like everybody, like Melvin. And everybody.
I'm
else,
just
you know?
advocating for that.
Oh,
stance.
absolutely. And absolutely,
like more than anything, like I understand that that's not the case for everyone and in every community. It's just
in general,
obviously in general, like just like how Otis was to David, who even gave him the letter of like, open this upon my death, which was a letter by his father, Paul. It's just those little things where it's like the older generation teaching the younger generation that it's okay, and
just having the younger generation for someone to look up to, because sometimes there's a lack thereof, and it just can really fuck up a child's, you know, future. But when Paul goes out to the jungle by himself, man, that scene where he just, it seems like he's talking to the camera, but it's another schematic.
That whole instance in particular, he's like almost looking into the camera, but just slightly off.
So
he's just slightly off looking to the camera and says everything that he has to say. And it's just, there's something about that shot where I feel like any other director would have Paul look at the camera, but the fact that he's slightly looking off, just slightly looking off in the other direction.
And so what Spike Lee does is, when he does that stuff, like, people look at it as breaking the fourth wall. And like, the thing is that when he does that, he doesn't do that to break the fourth wall. He makes it so the characters look at you as the viewer. So like, in a way, he is looking at you also. And he does that with all his other movies. And the reason he wants you to look at you is so you understand what's going on. Like, not to be like what Marvin Gaye was going on, but it's another like brilliant Spike Lee, you know, tactic. Because it's amazing. Because he goes on this tangent of talking, basically preaching about everything that's going on in his mind. And that's when you can see the quote unquote craziest part of him, you know, like this real sporadic aspect of him, and the real deals of life that he's going through all the time. And it ends with him seeing Storm and Norman after he loses his gold. He runs into Storm and Norman, and it's revealed that he was the one that actually shot him. And that broke my heart, because like Chadwick Boseman goes up to Paul and he hugs him, and he's like, it's an accident, man. Like, you got to accept that. And he's like, I love you, and it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. And he just starts crying. Like, when you hear a grown man cry, like, it's fucking sad, you know? And that's when he wakes up, and then he not wakes up, but he comes to realization that he's just about to be shot at by the Vietnamese people. And when they shoot, like before he gets shot, he says, and Jesus, he raises his arms and is my savior. And then he gets shot like 50 times. And when he's on the ground dead, and they don't even hide the graphicness of that.
Yeah, it's so graphic.
And then the Vietnamese guy, he takes off his hat, swipes his head with it, and he puts it on himself.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart, man. It fucking killed me inside, because, I mean, again, he's an amazing actor, but that we should put up in the Supplementary, like him just talking to the camera and stuff, because it's brilliant. It's super brilliant, man. It's so well done.
It's really powerful. Yeah. It just like, I think it really speaks to the fact that it's like, because it's not breaking the fourth wall, but it kind of is. It's just kind of like, again, the fact that he just slightly looks off from the camera, from the very perspective where he's just slightly off. It feels like he's talking directly to you.
And he is. That's the whole point of the thing. Like, he is talking to you.
Yeah. And it's just, it obviously that message is conveyed.
Yeah.
And it's just when I was watching that, I was expecting any second for his brain to get blown out.
Oh man,
I was like, this is the perfect shot.
just in front of you, right? Oh, that would have been cool as fuck. To be honest with you, that would have been cool as fuck.
So I was expecting that at any second. So those kind of scenes gave me anxiety.
Yeah, man.
Of like, oh my god, any second he like that's it. He's just gonna get fucking shot.
Me and Beatrice always be saying like that shit gave me agita. And yeah, man. And I feel like that's one cool thing that Spike Lee kind of does also. Like in this movie in particular, what I'm trying to say is that like he kind of leaves you like, oh my god, it's gonna happen right now. It's gonna like on the edge of your seat, like and then it doesn't happen, and then it happens.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say. And but then it's revealed that David, his son, the reason that Paul has so much problems with him is because his mom, David's mom, and Paul's wife died giving birth to David. And that shit is just sad. And it kind of wraps everything up as to why Paul would act like that towards him. Mm-hmm. And then, he was crying as he said that and everything. And then we get this final scene of the Frenchman coming through, who's supposed to look like Donald Trump, I'm assuming. Like, he looks exactly like him, like in shape-wise. And like the
he looks like a Muppet.
He does. But he does resemble Donald Trump. I mean, it's funny because when they started shooting everything, because the plan was to like distract him by giving him a goal, but they gave him bricks, and everybody started shooting and stuff. But they gave him, the Frenchman, the most French gun. Like I don't know if you remember the gun he had,
silencer or something like that.
It was just like one of those old school guys. I was like, why would they? The French guy, the most Frenchest gun. But they wanted, I forget what it was, but it was just to represent white people and this and that and all that stuff. But then as like the fight continues and he kind of breaks through everything, all his fellow soldiers die. He throws a grenade, and Melvin jumps on the grenade, saving the lives of his other bloods.
Otis,
yeah,
primarily,
and that's obviously a reference to Mill and Olive, who was gifted the Medal of Honor, who saved his fellow black soldiers in 1965. You know, and that's amazing. And I like that they say
just even when that happened, when he just yells grenade,
it just jumps down immediately
with no hesitation. I was like, oh.
Yeah, you wanted him to survive, right? You wanted it sucks. And I like how I say bloods don't die, we multiply.
Yeah,
And our French guy looks like Trump, and yeah, man. Like again, with that movie, like for me personally, it's a personal favorite. Like I know it's not perfect, but I still think that again, like to me, it holds a special place just because it's so impactful, so powerful, and the music is so good. I forgot to mention, but when they're on their way, before they get killed and stuff like that, when they're on their way, they put on the Marvin Gaye acapella. I actually uploaded it on my story today because it's so good. And it's so perfect because it's that quietness of him just kind of singing, but speaking those words to you. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And I mean, honestly, if you don't listen to Marvin Gaye, start, because that guy is so full of amazing voice and words. And even new to you that I didn't know, like the What's Going On song, I had no idea what the fuck that was going on. I didn't know what was going on.
You didn't know what's going on.
Yeah, man. And then you find out what's going on, you're like, oh shit, I should probably.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
What's going on, Frankie?
What's going on? But yeah, man. But yeah, it's just a crazy. Yeah, and you find out like scenes that you like or some shit like that.
Yeah, man. Again, like I said, like the first half of the movie, I was kind of like, like I wasn't fully on board with it.
Yeah. Like
I caught the early glimpse when they're in the club, when the club says "Apocalypse Now" behind the DJ.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so is this a war movie? Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to Sammy today at work, and he was asking me, what are you going to do today? And I was like, oh, we're going to talk about this movie, this and that. And I brought up the movie to him, and after a second, it took him a second, but he remembered the movie. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I heard that's a good movie. And I was like, yeah, like it's kind of like a war movie. Mm-hmm. And I think like that description, kind of like a war movie, is kind of the right description because it has the right blend of drama, but war story at the same time, because it blends in the past with Chadwick Boseman and everything and really portrays this war aspect. And if you were to ever watch Apocalypse Now, you would understand the influences where it's like those things just come so straight and true.
I believe it.
And it's just those things come straight and true in the war aspects of the film. But when it cuts to present day, it really becomes a Spike Lee joint. Yeah. It really becomes another story of Spike Lee just educating us on the segregation, not even segregation, but just the abuse against black people, because that's what most of his movies are.
And I mean, for me, I would categorize it as a post-war movie. I think it's heavily a post-war movie just because it capitalizes on the fact that there's a lot of punishment that goes forward even past wars, no matter how long you live past it. It really just shows this like fall from grace where you can be this young person and just go to a war and come back, and just all heavily written with just harshness in your brain, and just makes you live life terribly because no fault to you, but because of what you were forced to be put through in a country that doesn't respect you because of how you were born. And I think again, that's what he does in a lot of his movies. Basically, all of his movies focus on the black experience, which he always wants to capture. And to go forward with a little bit of detail on him, I'm gonna start with the camera work because Luke is just sat right next to me. And I think it's awesome. So I know he's not listening, but it's also what I want to mention. Again, I don't know shit about none of this stuff, but the movie's opening in contemporary Ho Chi Minh City deployed a 240 -1 widescreen, letterboxing on the top and bottom. Towards the end, a 185:1 aspect ratio was selected, which opened up the top bottom of the picture, effectively making the canvas larger, with saturated grains and yellows for the jungle landscape. For this part of the feature, Siegel deployed the ARR Alexa Mini. For the flashback, Siegel shot reversal film, a style used within that era, with the 1:3:1 aspect ratio, bringing the edges of the images in, resulting in a square nestled in the middle of the frame. Siegel shot with the ARRI 416 16mm camera, going with Kodak Tachrome reversal film stock, heightening the battlefield environment to the textural qualities of celluloid grain. So the cinematographer in the film was Newton Thomas Siegel.
Okay.
He had worked on commercials directed by Spike Lee in the past, but he had also worked on Bryan Singer's X-Men movies.
Okay.
Which I don't know anything about. I don't know if you know about them. And he worked on Blood and Wine starring Jack Nicholson and Towelhead and more.
Okay.
So that's why, I know people listening probably don't know shit about that, but I don't either. I don't know if you do at all. But I just think those things are like for anybody in the future listening that studies cinematography. I hope that aids you in any way. I'll put the website on the YouTube and shit like that so we can end the elementary and stuff. Just because, bro, there's a lot of great articles that surround this film. Apparently,
makes sense. Yeah, honestly,
man. Spike Lee, and even the camera they were using while they were on the boat to capture the certain pictures, like it was so throwback. And I'm assuming that has to do a lot with the money that was invested into this film.
What was the budget again? 35 million?
Between 35 and 45 million.
Yeah.
That should go up. Spike Lee is known for doing a lot of movies like Do the Right Thing, 1989, Black Klansman, 2018, Malcolm X, Bamboozled, Crooklyn, School Days, Summer of Sam, He Got Game, Chirac, Son of the South, Red Hook Summer, The Original Kings of Comedy with Bernie Mac, Good on the Bus, The Sweet Blood of Jesus, See You Yesterday, and a whole bunch more. His most famous trademark is, quote, Spike Lee joint, end quote. And the reason that he uses the word joint is that it represents the ingredients of all the subject matter that he explores in the film. Right? And that it includes the connecting tissue that's coming from him. And his most famous use is the double dolly shot. So that scene where they're in the club dancing is the double dolly shot, like coming towards the screen. So it's done with two connected platforms on a single track, and a camera on one platform and a camera on the other. It creates the illusion of gliding, used to imply that a character is being pulled towards destiny, or to show the experience of a surreal moment, like when him and his daughter were moving closer to the camera together.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of something similar in The Shining, where it's that sort of illusion where it's like things are zooming in but zooming out at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Nice. And then he uses Dutch angles to show that the world is out of balance. What I said earlier, he uses low angles to display a sense of control and higher angles to display a lack of control. One of his most famous shots, and ones when the characters look directly at the camera, looking directly at the fourth wall. But this isn't breaking the fourth wall. They aren't looking at the camera. They're looking at you. This helps connect the characters with the viewer. He's very famous for using documentary footage, used many a time in the Five Blood films, but also other films. He is himself a documentarian. He uses saturated color and grainy footage in all his movies. Warm and cold color filters are also used, and then makes the scene pop in his films. He also uses heightened realism, separating the visual aspect, camera work, from current time to flashbacks. That's why the flashbacks look so like wartimey, and the modern shots look so modern timey. And he uses the same actors from former films. So Delroy Lindo, Paul, was also in Clockers, 1995, Crooklyn, 1994, and Malcolm X, 1992. Isaiah Whitlock Jr., who was Melvin, was in The Black Klansman, 2018, Chirac, 2015, Red Hook Summer, 2012, She Hate Me, 2004, and 25th Hour, 2002. And Clark Peters, who's Otis, was in Red Hook Summer in 2014. This is crazy. 2 words that Spike Lee always uses in his films are wake up.
Wake up.
So in all of his movies, he has the words wake up in there. And it represents looking at what's going on around you and standing up for the greater good. It's crazy. I mean, I know it's little things, but it's pretty cool. Spike Lee homages classic in his films. The Five Bloods references Apocalypse Now, The Bridge on the River Kwai, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and his own movie, She's Gotta Have It. Racial and social themes, often depicted in his films. In The Five Bloods, he displays the exploitation and struggles of black soldiers in Vietnam War and other wars. I wrote down again here just because I'll read it. This is my favorite line in the movie. When Paul's burying his own grave, he said, quote, "We fought in an immoral war that wasn't ours for rights we didn't have." And yeah, man, like, what do you think about those taxes and stuff like that? I mean, those are just random and stuff like that, but I got it from a video on YouTube and everything. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Spike Lee, like, with how long he's been in the business, like, he definitely, and I said it earlier, but he definitely has a style to his films. It's without a doubt that he knows what he's doing.
No doubt. No doubt.
Like, he's a marksman at what he does at his craft. It's incredible. Like, like, he doesn't miss. Like, it's pretty great to watch him make these films where every message is kind of the same in terms of representing black lives, but different at the end of the day, where it speaks about a different matter. Whereas this movie,
that was dope how you said that, like, you know, black lives, and it speaks to a different thing. How it doesn't? What did you say? Like, it just because Black Lives Matter, it sounded cool how you phrased that and everything. That was dope. That
again, like, Spike Lee, throughout a lot of his films, emphasizes that black lives does matter. But
even in this one, at the end of it, all the money went towards good causes, especially the empowerment of black people.
But regardless, each film also expresses a different perspective, whereas with this film, we get a perspective of the Vietnam War, and versus his film before that, The Black Klansman, we get a perspective of the Klansman.
Yeah, which is a great movie too, man. What's his name? Who played Duke? David Duke, Eric from That 70s Show.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, and the main character, I forget his name. I'll pick it up in a second, actually. But he was the main character. But I forgot to mention, at the end of the movie for The Five Bloods, it just comes up in red lettering, and it says that on this day, Martin Luther King spoke out against the Vietnam War. Vietnam War, and how, like, he spoke against it in the rights that black people didn't have while they were fighting for and stuff like that.
And almost exactly a year to that date, he was assassinated
in Memphis, Tennessee. It's crazy. I looked up a Black Klansman. I put Blacksman, and the definition of a black man came out.
Nice.
It's a male member of a racial group.
What's a black man, Frankie?
Let me learn you. A male member of a racial group having dark skin coloring, typically of a sub-Saharan African descent. Oh, what the fuck? The second definition is an evil spirit or a demon, and the third definition is the third definition. But I can't believe it isn't the first. It's a man who is black. What the fuck? Yo, DuckDuckGo, you got some explain into
don't let Spike Lee listen to this.
Yeah, you can be like, what the hell? What the fuck, bro? Let me look at the. I didn't say that. They said that. Fucking okay. The cast was John David Washington of Black Klansman.
David Washington, yeah.
Laura Harrier, Adam Driver's in it. Topher Grace, which is Eric, David Duke. Alec Baldwin's in it. Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Melvin from The Five Bloods, and then we got a bunch of people that people probably know, but I don't know with this, so I'm not gonna say their names. But yeah, what was I gonna say? So I got some history for Spike Lee. Not too extensive, just because I don't want to go too much of a tangent. But There's a great website that I'll have. Maybe we could put it in this little between audio space. So anybody, and even you, when you want to do A.M.C. sections, great fucking sum ups of biographies.
Okay.
Like super good. Like I didn't even go so much into it because I was like, let me not go so hard. Not to disrespect Spike Lee, but just there's just so much about him. But I wanted to give this little gist. So Spike Lee, life and career. His real name is Shelton Jackson Lee. He was born March 20th, 1957 in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Brooklyn, New York. Whoop, whoop. His mother taught the arts in a private school in Brooklyn, and this brought him most of his family's income, and his father played jazz. He would go see his father play shows at time. His mother was tough on him, and Spike Lee said that he's grateful for it. She expected the highest grades of him and had him do gym and learn the violin after class. Meaning that if he got an A, she's like, why not A+? You know? His mother also took her children to plays, museums, and galleries. He got his nickname Spike as a child because of his toughness. And when he was younger, he had the chance to attend a predominantly white private school where his mom taught. Instead, he chose to attend public school where he would be surrounded by other black students. He graduated John Dewey High School in Brooklyn and from the all-black college that his father and grandfather had attended, Morehouse College, where he majored in mass communication. When his mother died in 1977, his friends took him to the movies to cheer him up. This is where he developed a passion for directors and movies. Then he was inspired to create movies that would capture the black experience by whatever means necessary. He eventually went to school in NYU and enrolled in the Tisch School of Arts graduate film program. He was a small portion of black students in the program. He later produced a 45-minute film, Joe's Bed-Stuy Barbershop, We Cut Heads, that won him the 1983 Motion Picture and Art and Sciences Academy Award. His later films mentioned earlier captured the black experience he promised and he would present. He made a movie, Get on the Bus, which is about a group of African Americans riding a bus to the Million Man March, which united them throughout. Okay. And then his most famous movie is that Anthony actually went to go see like 3 weeks ago in the theaters. Do the Right Thing told the story of simmering racial tension between Italian Americans and African Americans in Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn. The film becomes a call to arms when violence erupts in response to the killing of an African American man by white police officers. Doesn't that sound all too familiar? You know. And now, maybe not so now, but like in 2002. He works as an educator and has taught at NYU and also at Harvard. In March of 2002, Lee became the artistic director of NYU's Canbar Institute of Film and Television. He works with students on their thesis projects and helps them to make contacts in the entertainment field. He enjoys working with students and challenges them to work hard. And that's pretty much all I got. But he has so much movies that we could later even dive into in the future. Yeah. I've never seen Malcolm X. I would love to see Malcolm X.
Neither have I.
I would love to see that. I mean, Black Klansman, I would just like to watch again. Because when I saw it for the first time, I only watch these joints because like it's Spike Lee. And even though I don't have so much knowledge on him, like I just check it out because I respect the name. Remember the name.
Remember the fucking name.
And like when I was revisiting this movie, man, I was just so happy because like for me, like I love when
you were happy.
Yeah, man. Because this movie, I love when movies invoke emotion in me. Like I'm telling you, man. Like when the movie,
I'm so happy that I'm sad right now. Oh my god,
bro! I was working at the dog cafe, and I was just there, like, you want a latte?
I'm so happy right now. Can't you tell by the tear running down the side of my face?
Exactly, bro. And I'm so excited that like now I have a chance to really revisit his older movies and stuff, and just kind of like, and the fact that they're still showing them in theaters today. Like I know you can do this. Like you can rent out A.M.C. theater, right? Yeah, and watch movies, bro. We gotta do that. Maybe we could do like an event one day or some shit. Like
I said that already. We should rent out a theater for Morbius. Let's fucking do it.
The first movie I'm watching in the theater that I rent out is not gonna be Morbius. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna watch
we should rent out a theater for Morbius and just get shit faced.
I'm with that. I'm with that for a second movie. You think it's go out? Let me check how much it costs actually.
It's like $100 at least.
Really?
Yeah, it's not super expensive.
Watch that shit be like $1,000.
It's less than $300, more than $100.
Yeah. It starts at $99.
Yeah, man, that shit.
$99.
And like, if you get the whole theater full, it basically pays for itself.
Shit. Puss in Boots. I wonder if there's any restrictions to movies you can choose and stuff.
I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't see why there wouldn't be, right?
You know, Quentin Tarantino has his own movie theater in LA.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
now?
man.
Interesting.
And when before the movies go on, he puts on trailers of movies that were coming out of that time.
Huh.
Isn't that awesome? I think it's something that like
What a weirdo.
What a weirdo, man. Just feet out and everything. I love Quentin Tarantino, man. That motherfucker's awesome, bro. He loves comedy too. He loves comedy, man. But Spike Lee, give him respect and stuff. But Spike Lee's old, man. I looked up his controversies and stuff, and he's very vocal on Twitter and everything.
Oh yeah,
extremely.
Oh yeah.
But I like that. But Woody Allen is a huge pervert. He definitely has he has a lot of movies. He's a very famously known pervert and this and that, sexually active, kind of weird motherfucker. But when there was a sexual allegations coming out against Woody Allen, Spike Lee was like, I'm defending his artwork, and kind of doing that thing where they separate the artist from the things they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I respected that, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, say The Flash is like the best movie of our generation. Fuck Ezra Miller.
I just remembered. You want to hear an update about that?
I have it right here, actually. What you heard? Because I hear the whole mental health thing and stuff like that.
Ezra Miller apologized.
This bitch ass. Yeah.
Ezra Miller put a public apology concerning his mental health conditions.
This is his
like
statement.
That.
His statement is, quote, having recently gone through
their statement.
Fuck Ezra Miller. Nah, fuck this bitch. This bitch's statement. Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have been ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to getting back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. You know what this sounds like? I'm trying to get paid. I'm trying to get paid before I go back to being a dickhead to the world, bro. And I'm covering it with the mental health blanket. You bitch ass Ezra Miller piece of shit. I hope people boycott that movie, but I'm probably gonna go see it, to be honest with you.
I was actually seeing the article that I read about that was like, Warner Brothers is saved. Ezra Miller finally made a public apology.
Like that undoes all his bullshit. You feel me?
And it's like, honestly, they're just gonna release that movie.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're probably gonna go see it.
And we're probably gonna cover it and put a little like photo of Ezra Miller here, like saying it's okay, you can do whatever you want. You're rich and white. There's a last line that makes me laugh here in the article. It says, even amid all the legal reports coming out, Miller still completed reshoots for The Flash this summer. There were no plans to replace the actor with a new star due to how expensive it would be. So regardless of all his bullshit, it was just too expensive to cover his bullshit.
Oh wow,
that's ridiculous, bro. That's, oh my god. I'm happy we brought it up because I had the article here the whole time. I also have this little thing that says people are upset about the amount of sex scenes that are coming out with Harry Styles' movie. Apparently, Harry Styles' movie coming out.
I wouldn't know.
People are upset about the sex scenes coming out. The amount of them, actually. Pussies, bro.
Don't get Lucas in this conversation.
He likes Harry Styles?
Nah, he doesn't like sex scenes.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I actually like Harry Styles a lot. I think he's a very talented motherfucker.
He's talented.
He's extremely talented, bro. I was going to try to buy shows, but I bought tickets to BTS one time. I'm not doing that shit again until I got some money, because that motherfucker's expensive. Sorry, bitches.
Working 7 days a week now, motherfucker.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Better get me one of them tickets.
I'm gonna get Link a ticket, bitch. What? We all going to see Harry Styles. Every viewer here going to see Harry Styles. You get a ticket. You get a ticket.
You get a ticket.
Nah, man, it's so funny, man. This world is so crazy, and we're so grateful for all the news coming out. Not the shitty things that are happening. But yeah, man. I mean, go see The Five Bloods. Tell us your thoughts on it.
It's on Netflix. Mad easy for you to watch. No excuses.
Facts. You already got a Netflix account that you haven't opened in so much time because you watching HBO Max.
Facts.
You know what I'm trying to say? Ain't nobody care Netflix got games now, bitch.
The Gray Man was okay.
I know. What was that? That I've heard about that before.
It was with Ryan Gosling. Just came out with Ana de Armas as well.
I think you mentioned it to me, The Gray Man.
I don't know. Actually, have I?
It's been a while, man.
It's also got a Captain America in it. Fucking what's his name? Chris Evans.
Oh shit. Oh man, I wish I could tell you who's in the Bullet Train, but you didn't see it yet.
You told me Bad Bunny's in it.
Oh, but everybody knows Bad Bunny's in it. But there's a bunch.
I didn't know that Bad Bunny.
He's in the
was
trailer.
it.
What the fuck? He's in the trailer.
I don't watch trailers, Frankie.
But when you see Nope, it was like you didn't see the trailer. For
I
Bullet
didn't watch
Train?
the trailers. I showed up just on time.
Yeah, you be showing up late to movies at like 3 a.m. Yeah, so I don't.
I purposely show up right on time to miss the trailers. Okay.
I cried.
I did watch the trailer for Oppenheimer.
Oh, that seems pretty cool. I mean, I think they're hyping it up way too early.
It's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, we're gonna hype it up.
I'll tell you this. I was going upstairs because I went to see Bullet Train IMAX. Shout out to Beatrice. She got the tickets for me, a surprise and shit like that. And I was walking upstairs and I saw the little cutout for Black Adam. And I was like, man, this suit looks stupid, bro. Like, this is going to be a dumbass movie and shit, bro. Like, what the fuck? Yo, I go into the theater. I see the trailer. I genuinely, like a kid, no way. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, this is going to be crazy. Bro, like, I did. I was like nerded out completely, like a big ass nerd. I was like, yo, I'm gonna watch that shit, bro. Because they were like, heroes don't kill people, and The Rock is like, I do. I was like, nice. And then when I see Wakanda Forever, I cried. The trailer for Wakanda Forever.
I still haven't seen the trailer to that movie.
Man, I mean, I guess it was because the IMAX is so grand and stuff, but I just started crying. I was just like, bro, this is sad.
I really want to wait till I watch, till I fully see that
the movie and everything.
Yeah,
I gotta rewatch fucking the Black Panther. I fell asleep the first time, bro. I fell in the theater too.
Wow.
I was very drunk though. Oh, they're coming out with the new Mission Impossible.
Yeah, of course they are.
And Clerks 3, which we gotta watch the first one. I hope we do the next. I'll tell you this. Next time we see what we're gonna do for if I pick the movie is Clerks.
Okay.
Or a different one. To be honest with you, but Avatar seems like it's gonna be crazy.
Of course. I mean, it's fucking Avatar. Do you think Avatar is going to do as well? Do you think the second one is going to do as well as the first one?
Man, I remember when I watched Avatar the first time, and I'm not shitting it now, but I don't really remember. I mean, a lot of people say that Avatar is just Pocahontas. Like, right? Like, but I mean, I wasn't that crazed about the first Avatar. I got to rewatch it again for sure. But for me, it was like, oh, blue people. Just like, you know, what'd you think?
I'm definitely in the same camp.
Right?
I'm just kind of like
what's the hype?
I wasn't blown away. Like Lucas is watching. He's like, what? Avatar is crazy. Yeah. I'm like, is it though?
Right. Like, is it really? I don't know. I mean, I love the name of the second one, Way of Water. That just sounds badass. Bro, there's a second Spider-Verse coming out?
Yeah.
What?
Across the Spider-Verse.
I keep hoping for like a what? No way. But apparently you caught up. There's a second Shazam coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Aquaman. I've never seen any of the Aquaman. Oh, the Marvels. What's the Marvels?
The Marvels.
What's coming out next year?
That's the next Captain Marvel sequel.
Okay. The Flash, which we all know. Blonde, which is the Marilyn Monroe, right?
Yes, with Anna Darwins.
Yeah, I still think they could have cast it better, but I think I'm not trying to be a hater.
I don't know, man. From that picture that I sent you.
Oh, you mean the black and white one? that like makes anybody look like Marilyn Monroe.
That's not true. That's not true. Just because you put a picture in black and white doesn't make you fucking Marilyn
with your
Monroe.
skirt rising up because the water.
Frankie, if I put you in a skirt right now, you would not look like Marilyn Monroe in a black and white photo.
Do it, bitch. Do it. I promise you, I look like exactly look better. I'm just going down some of the movies. It could be I haven't filmed a bit. The Menu with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy, yeah.
Yeah, she's bad. I'm excited for that movie like crazy. Indiana Jones 5, what the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't know?
No, bro. Apparently you know everything.
Harrison Ford isn't that old. He's the only 87. Yeah.
He's only bones and barely some flesh and skin. He's bugging out. Puss in Boots is coming out.
Yep.
That I don't even care about. Loud Crocodile.
I don't know that one.
Let's fucking go. Fourth, John Wick.
Yep.
All right. I forgot to mention. I saw Bill Burr last week.
Okay.
Great experience.
Nice.
Great experience. I just want to mention that Salem's Lot was a movie before, right?
Salem's Lot? I don't know, actually.
I think it might be a remake, but it's coming out next year. I only got 2 more left. She Said and I Want to Dance. They're coming out with the Whitney Houston movie.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Look at that. This year.
Yo, I love your reaction to that. That was the best.
What the fuck?
That was so genuine. You look so happy. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Good thing we got on the thing. I'm about to watch the trailer. Fuck this shit. Oh, I'm hyped. Wow.
You're like, oh, wow.
Look.
They're really doing it.
Oh shit! Now you don't fuck with this YouTube. Look, this is her as an actor. Yo, that shit looks like the documentary.
Wow,
what the fuck?
look at her go.
I'm watching this, and you know what? We're gonna reboot our episode of it so we get the views. That's awesome. I think the actor is what's her name? My bad, I was getting hype right now. What's her name? Let me just end it off.
Come on.
Naomi Aki.
Nice.
Let's fucking go.
Yo, that was the most happiest reaction I've ever seen come out from me.
I'm excited, bro. I'm telling you, man. And even then, like just learning about her when we talked about it and shit like that, she broke my heart. But she deserves the credit. She didn't get. You know, they made like 10,000 Michael Jackson movies. That were
It's
all
like I
ass.
said, everyone from the 50s and later are getting a movie now.
David Bowie, man, that's gonna be kind of crazy. I never really followed him like that though. Like I know
the
he was
David
huge.
Bowie movie is gonna be crazy.
It
I
looks
saw
good.
I saw the trailer to that. In
Oh, what
IMAX.
trailer?
Yo, I made it in time for that. Sue me. Oh my god.
I don't watch trailer immediately. Yo, so I saw this trailer and
I made it in time for that.
That's the most you could watch a trailer in IMAX.
But that trailer looked crazy.
Yeah, it did, right? How it like it just kind of it comes off as like a independent film almost, you know, right? But it really has that vibe, and the actor looks like he's doing a great job. Hey man, more movies for us to cover. We will never run out of movies to talk about.
Without a doubt.
Comics, albums, it was blessed, bro. It was blessed. Got some lottery numbers. You playing some lottery earlier?
Yeah, the lottery right here.
looking like you didn't win.
let me read off the numbers for you right
yeah.
here.
Oh, how many numbers come in a lottery number?
6.
6. All right, I'm gonna read off a couple, and they're gonna hit in the future. So if you're gonna play a lottery right now, I'm telling you, 7, 39, 14, 9, 54, and can you go 70s?
I don't know.
What's the highest number you see there?
70.
So 72. No, 70. Fuck the 70 to 70. Those are my winning numbers.
I'll just tell you these numbers right here.
Didn't win.
8,
Okay.
14, 26, 30,
Okay.
42, and 15.
Gambling is an addiction. Call if you need help.
Slap that down.
I got no more
Let me
paper.
get a loud slap.
Let me close my laptop hard. Just everything going to shit. But what the fuck did we do today, Javi?
Yo, my guy, we talked about what's going on in the earth.
Talk about what's happening in our minds.
This is why it fucking matters.
This is Earth, Mind, and Matter. And don't you forget it, bitches.
And before we let you go,
Oops. We got the socials.
follow us on the socials and things
Instagram.
like that. You know, all that good shit.
All that good shit. Leave
Earth,
us a
Mind,
rate.
Matter Pod. Leave your recommendations.
Yeah,
leave
man.
your comments. Leave your
Everything.
questions.
Everything.
Anything and everything all above. If you just want to say hi,
Say hi.
say hi. We're here.
If you want to give us dirty words, tell us dirty words. That's our favorite thing to receive. Hate mail.
Hate mail,
Death
I
threats.
love.
Death threats.
Death threats,
Death
I
threats.
put on my wall.
You put on my wall. I've tattooed them on the bottom of my feet. So there's not a lot of room.
So you do the Andy shit where
Yeah.
you fucking
It's
tattoo
just
that
death
shit.
threats.
You belong to this bitch.
Die, asshole, die. And looking back, I'm like, yeah, I got that in 97 when I was 1.
Out the womb.
Anybody want to give us free tattoos? Give us free tattoos. We'll take them.
Yo, man, if you're trying to go to a concert with me, hit me up.
If you want to watch a movie and see the trailers with me, hit me up. If you want to take me to an expensive restaurant, hit me up.
If you're trying to show me true love, hit me up.
Yeah, you could do that. All right, man. We're fucking out of here. Let's get